objects.
Really?
Agreed.
I put it up against
As
another.
if.
And then
Yeah,
were in
I
school,
remember.
It was not even the shape.
Negative.
Mentally ill. Mentally
Did
disabled.
a special effects agency. We are back here, Ethan Claire Podcast Show, big episode 94. How you feeling about that today, Colin? 94.
94 episodes. I can't believe it.
I know,
I've probably been on, 75?
I don't know. We had a big argument about how many episodes Colin's been on because it was like switching back and forth between who's the producer, who's the co-host. So 94 episodes, though. That's pretty crazy. We've had a lot of different people on. But it's good to be here in Mankato. We have a great guest tonight. And I don't even know. We're trying to figure out how we even met. We can't even figure that out.
Sometime maybe 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Had each other on Snap and Instagram, right?
Yep. And then we saw you were doing some creative stuff. You saw we were doing some creative stuff.
For
and
sure.
I think it's a little too late now that we're meeting now because we should have met a long time ago. But
Yeah, absolutely.
this week on the podcast, Logan Sendel. Is that pronounced your last name
Yes,
right?
it is.
Awesome.
A lot
Well-
of people say Sandal, but
Sandel.
Sendal is correct.
We even with the Minnesota accent, we can get it right.
Yes.
So
Hey,
Logan,
better late than never, though, that we
It
have
is.
on the podcast. right?
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, boys. This is big.
It's great to have you here, Logan. And you're hustling, you're grinding, you're doing a lot of different stuff. A lot of people our age aren't doing that kind of stuff. They're playing video games, which hey, there's nothing wrong. There's no. I kind of go right into it. Yeah, I jump right into it. There's nothing wrong with playing video games. There's nothing wrong with having fun. We were talking about that before the podcast. But how do you balance having fun and getting stuff done in your 20s? Because we've talked about that before.
Yeah, it's a tough topic. I mean, if you think of video games, you think of like the same thing with iPhone games, the same thing with social media. It's like, how do you balance that and how do you make it like a positive thing? I think is the big thing. Like video games can be positive, and I'm not completely against video games. I just don't play them anymore because I don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think when you're growing up, you gotta play video games. Like you just gotta
part of childhood.
at least a little bit. Like,
Everybody's got that
yeah,
video game
yeah.
stage.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Xbox Live group chat.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's just nuts growing up. But
It's-
like, eventually you gotta outgrow it unless you're making money or making content or absolutely love it. But
Yep.
there's a time where you can't be doing that 10 hours a day.
It's crazy
That's a hot
now
topic.
in 2020. It is in 2020 now with Twitch and everything. People making money off of
Big money.
big money off of
Big
video
money.
games.
Ninja's making more than LeBron, isn't he?
Yeah, I probably.
No
You might have to
way.
look
He's
that up.
making an
That-
insane amount.
that might be a look it up.
Does Ninja make more than LeBron James? Are we
Probably
ready?
at his peak, possibly.
How much are these guys
Like
making
when
off
he
of
was
video
streaming
games?
with Drake. I watched that, and I don't like video games.
Let's see here. Ninja ranked higher than Ronaldo, LeBron, and
Oh
Shaq
my,
in
and
social. This 20-year-old gamer makes $500,000 a month. Holy.
That was in July. I don't know.
That is
That-
when
yeah.
with COVID going on, people don't have anything to do, so they're probably playing more video games and watching more video games.
Isn't it crazy people spend so much time watching another person play video games?
That's what I thought.
But
I
it's
think
kind of like
crazy.
the same thing with sports too,
True.
And in essence, like
True.
playing like the counter argument, and I don't even like video games, but like people just spend a whole lot of their time watching other people. Same thing with social media.
True. Yeah, see,
Same thing with social media.
it is.
Scrolling the feed.
True. I've never really got into video games too hardcore, and so I never got into watching other people play video games.
What about Super Smash Bros?
Well, I mean, we played. It's
an exception.
Yeah, we played. Certain video games, whatever. But we never got into it. Where I have some friends that logged however many hours on Call of Duty or whatever. You know what I mean? And then people that watch video games, people playing video games all the time.
Ooh, yeah.
We're in a
Especially-
crazy time here.
Especially the youth. That's going to be a problem growing up.
It is.
You know?
It is. I think
If our generation is like this,
Mhm.
where's the next generation going?
I don't want to think about that.
I don't either. I mean, that's a good question though. You bring that up. Where do you think
Crazy.
it's going?
I mean, it depends because with stuff like the Occupy Mars and Tesla,
Yep.
with the what's the chip called? The chip in their head. What chip? You never heard of that?
Chip in a head.
Neuralink.
Oh,
You heard of that?
I've heard of that.
Yes.
Is that real? Or
Yeah, it's
I
real.
thought that was a
Look-
conspiracy.
Look it up.
Neuralink.
Yeah, Neuralink.
I
Elon
thought that
Mu-
was a conspiracy.
No, Elon Musk owns that company. I'm pretty sure, and is developing that. That's like a chip that goes in
Really?
your head. And how far away are we from making that the normal? And having your phone attached to you at all times, like a chip in your wrist, you know what I mean? You never lose it. So it's like, it's kind of hard to say where's the next generation going because that's all they know. And that might be where America is going,
Is that
Probably is not the right thing to do. That's a whole nother topic. But
So it connects to your brain.
Something like that, man. I don't know. I've watched so many YouTube videos on it. I wish I could tell you more.
It's
but
kind
I'm
of
not
like
a doctor.
It's kind of like the argument where people are getting those chips put in their hands or whatever.
Yeah.
Companies are doing that so you can clock into work.
Oh, really?
And that's
People
a
are
big,
doing that right
People
now.
are doing
Oh,
that.
my.
So it's kind of a moral dilemma.
there. We're
Do
getting there
you
soon.
do you want to have a chip in your body? Is that the direction that we're headed in? Where if you don't, you're like a
you?
weird. I don't.
I
I'm not.
personally do
Never?
not.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where maybe in the future, because we get so desensitized to stuff. I think 20 years ago, if you would have told somebody that we're gonna have a thing in our pocket that is always listening to us, no, you're gonna be like, hell no, I'm not doing that.
Never. But now
But-
people just don't care.
People don't care.
Yeah, it's
And
nuts.
Or a speaker in your house.
like Alexa, dude, that shit is listening to you
that's the
all
next
the
generation.
time.
That's the next generation.
What do you mean?
Voice command.
Voice command.
Yeah, just anything. Like, get me groceries. You speak to your grocery list in there, and it's delivered to your house by drone. Like,
True.
that's where we're gonna be.
I've heard that the shit with the drones that they're gonna deliver the vaccine
By drone.
by drone.
I
Is
heard
that real?
too.
Is
I heard
that real?
I heard it. Look it up, man. I
You
don't know.
You're
I've heard
flying.
that.
You're gonna be flying around Minnesota, and
That's
people are gonna
nuts.
shoot
Shoot
that
that
stuff
shit
out of
down,
the air.
yes.
100%. How are
Minnesota, think about South Dakota, North Dakota.
Iowa, Alabama? There's no way that
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're talking about stuff right now with COVID. You were earlier today. You were going out and you're buying stuff from Walmart.
Yes.
And maybe we don't have to mention what it is. Just
Yep.
it's an item that people. It's going to be something that people are going to be wanting.
We can mention what it is for sure.
Talk about it.
so
What is it?
earlier today, I realized from a friend on Snapchat that there's some weight set at Walmart for a cheaper price than probably it should have been. And I was like, okay, everybody's going to need weights. The gym's getting shut down again.
Yep.
I went through the first quarantine with like no weights. I had like two 20-pound dumbbells at my house, and me and my girlfriend work out nonstop.
Yep.
So then you got to get like super creative, right? And you can't lift heavy. You just like got to do body weight stuff, which
Uh-huh.
is just not the same.
Yep.
So then I was thinking like, okay, why not seize this opportunity and buy all of the weight sets from Walmart that are cheap and then resell them at a better price? Like, that's the entrepreneur in me. But also, like, if you're my friend, like some of my friends swipe up on Snapchat, like I'm going to give it to you at not even close to what I'm going to sell it on Facebook Marketplace at.
Yeah.
Because that's just like, I got you first. But if somebody's willing to pay more for Facebook Marketplace, like, why not? You got to turn a profit. That's like the Gary V. I don't know if you know Gary V.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
100%. Yeah.
That's the Gary V. Flip.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, now that you bring that up, I remember in the first like wave, you could call it, of COVID.
Yeah.
The first lockdown.
Yeah, my one of my managers at work was telling me that she'd go to Shields and completely sold out of weight training stuff.
I didn't know anything about
all
it.
the weights, everything. And so now
Makes
that you
sense,
say
though.
that, big money moves you're making right there.
Hopefully, we'll see. I mean,
No, I think you got it.
the bad thing about this is too, some people might be negative on that. It's like the people trying to flip hand sanitizer, like where's the line between like ethics and not? But like,
Yep.
I mean, that's just smart. Like, this isn't gonna kill anybody that they don't have a weight set because I bought
Yeah.
all of them. Hand
Yeah.
sanitizer's a little different.
Yeah.
Looking at it from that standpoint. But I mean, I have a friend who works as like an ambassador for Dick's Sporting Goods. She actually just swiped up on my story and was like, that's insane. Like, where are you getting that? Like, people are coming to us in the cities and they pay probably $300 to $500 for this 100-pound weight set that I got sub 100 at Walmart.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. $300 to $500 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, we just drove. So me and my buddy Thomas, my roommate actually, we went to Mankato Walmart, got 4 of them. Then we're like, where else can we go?
Yed
Looked online.
Do they
sold
only
out.
have 4 in Mankato?
Yeah, that's it, man. I'd have bought them all. I'd have bought 50
Yeah.
of them. I'd have put the whole bank account on it. Like,
Goddamn.
that's free money. No, but like we looked, New Ulm sold out, Waseca sold out. We drove to Waseca just to make sure. Then we had a friend that we know in Owatonna buy the last one there. We picked it-
Fairmont?
Owatonna. I didn't check Fairmont.
Fairmont's not far.
I have to check that after.
Check it out.
Yeah, I
well,
will.
this podcast doesn't come out till tomorrow, so you got tonight to take care of it. That's the craziest thing, though. You brought up the hand sanitizer. Remember when toilet paper? There was people
That's
selling
still-
packs. Is it still?
Yes. I had a friend say that it was completely sold out at Walmart again.
Oh my gosh. We went to Sam's Club and just bought a ton, and not because we wanted to stock up, but we needed it. Like. One of those things, though, I saw people selling toilet paper on Facebook Marketplace.
Ridiculous.
That's kinda
Ridiculous
dumb.
markup. That is a little pushing the line, like toilet paper. Come on, like I
People
mean,
need that.
That's a necessity. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, weights are a want. Like, you
Exactly.
don't absolutely need them. You can do push-ups. You can do burpees. Like,
yep.
If you got
You
the
don't
money,
you don't need
get
to
the
work
weights,
out. You
yeah.
don't need to work
No.
out during a pandemic.
You
but,
don't need to, and there is options for free if you want to. You know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and that's like people that are buying the PS5s and that pre-ordered them and now they're selling them for a huge markup.
Flip that. I wish
2,
I would. I
3
wish I would have
times.
done that. Why did I like?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
No.
That's genius.
It is, and they're
gonna-
making a lot of money off of it because now they're not knowing apparently when they're going to restock the PS5s.
Oh, God.
And during the second wave here of COVID now that's
Everybody.
happening, everyone wants a PS5.
Wait till we get a stimulus check again.
Do you think they're going to do another
that's
one?
Gone.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? You never know.
I didn't even get the first one because
Really?
there was some discrepancy in my taxes, or it was just a
Did your
whole.
parents claim you as a dependent
no,
still?
no.
Oh, well,
it
come
was.
on,
I
man.
called the IRS
Oh,
twice, and
That's just like, okay, so I had unemployment, right? I got laid off. I worked as a project manager at a manufacturing plant
oh,
pre-COVID.
gotcha. Yep.
Got laid off, got the unemployment. Then when they made that like second round of like $400 a month, did you see that? Like
Yeah.
after the 600 ran out, right?
Yep.
They made that $400 a month. And I was still unemployed for like the first 2 weeks of that before I got this new job at True Real Estate. But but I missed that cutoff because my benefit, like my original weekly benefit, was $2 less than what it needed to be to get an extra $400. Like,
Jeez.
what kind of laws are we making that like somebody could like? I don't need it, so I'm not even going to complain.
Yeah.
I didn't even need it in the first place.
Yeah.
But there's people that are way less fortunate that need it, and I like. I'm not socialist by any means, but like people need stuff right now.
Yeah.
And like how
Yeah.
are those the cutoffs that we're making? You know, what
Yep.
if somebody like me that's got 3 kids and hardly paying their mortgage misses that cutoff by $2 and you don't give them extra money? That doesn't make any sense.
No, and it's to me that's not that surprising because I've had to deal with like the IRS before and other stuff before this, and
a good place.
anybody that wants to do like anything, the government, like anyone that thinks the government should take over stuff, any program, all my thing is look at how they run the IRS, how much of a shit show that is.
Yes.
If you want to get in touch with them there, you're waiting and on the phone for hours. They don't know anything. Just don't let the government, don't rely on the government
Yeah,
for stuff, you know?
100%.
And that's a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where I'm not surprised that is like happened to you because they always have these little things where you might miss it by a little
I
bit.
got another
but
story for you.
I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
So I bought a truck in Texas. Had an Audi. Decided to get rid of the Audi for business decisions for Lakeshore Potential. I needed a truck, right, to work. Can't.
Yeah.
You'll have to talk about that too.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
right, in a sec after this. But bought a truck in Texas. Drove down to get it like in April maybe or sometime pre-summer, pre-last summer, and ended up buying it in cash. Got the title from the guy. Signed the title. Everything. Where everything's good, right?
Yeah.
Drove back to Minnesota. Went to the DMV. They were like, "Yeah, good." Took my credit card. Gave me new plates, gave me new tabs, said go. Didn't think anything of it, right? I get a letter in the mail 3 months later. I'm like, where the hell is my title? They're like, they sent me this one letter, just 1-page letter. And it basically just said, like, we can't give you a title because the guy's signed in the wrong place. So they didn't give me my title back, the Texas one at least, to say I own the truck.
Yeah.
It's just a truck in gray area, right? Like, nobody has the title. This guy's like, I don't have his information anymore because I got rid of it once they said everything's good.
Yep.
And that's a mistake. Like, you live and you learn. On my part, I'll take that mistake 100%. Like, I should never be that stupid and not have a picture of his driver's license, not have everything. But I got rid of it. I'm like, okay, we're good. If they would have flagged it that day, still was talking to the guy. They flag it 3 months later. Don't tell me what to do to fix it. Don't give me a title back, right? I wanted to sell this truck. Like, I'm like all about the flip, right?
Yep.
I could probably make some money on the back end of this.
Yep.
Before I have to get new tires, which I did. Before I have to put more money into it, which I just did today at the Ford dealership. Wanted to sell it. Don't have a title to sell. Get on the phone with the DMV, on hold for 6 hours. Finally get through to somebody. They're like, yeah, you need a correction, like whatever form. And I'm like, why didn't you send that in the mail with it, right? Like, why wouldn't you enclose that in it? Just stupid, right? This is now 7 months later. Still don't have this resolved. They can't give me a straight up answer because I tell them, like, on this correction form, I need the guy's driver's license number. I can't get it. So I'm like, who owns the damn truck? What happens when I got to renew the tabs? Nobody owns the truck. I have Minnesota plates on it, though. I got rid of the Texas
Yeah.
plates. They gave me them. I'm like, give me a title because I want to sell it. You guys just cost me $2,000.
That's crazy.
And I probably could have flipped it for a profit.
Yep.
Because that's why I went to Texas to get it. Good deal. Probably could have flipped it for a profit. Now I'm too deep into it in repairs and shit that I'm not making a penny on it. And I was gonna get rid of it right after the summer, buy a crappy small car that gets great gas mileage, and now instead paying repairs, paying the gas, like the gas difference on the truck, you know? Like, and nobody will answer me, all right? 8 hours of on hold, like
Yep.
3 different times.
Yep.
Emailed them, right? Was on a whole email chain, and I'm like, somebody please call me.
Yeah.
Just call me.
Yep.
They're like, oh, call our helpline. I'm like, I've done that 3 times, and I've sat on hold for 6 hours. Oh, please call our helpline. That's all they say. I'm
It's
like,
ridiculous.
Who owns the truck? I want to sell it, but I can't.
Yeah. And that's
Oh,
the thing with
God.
these government programs or whatever. The computer systems and everything are so obsolete now because it costs so much money to store all this data, you know, for every American, that the computer systems and everyone working there is, you know, just behind with the technological
Well, and that's
advances.
like, where's our government putting their money? Like, where's our tax dollars going? Why can't we pick that from our phone? Somebody said that. Somebody way bigger than me.
Are you talking like voting now?
Well, that too. That's a whole other conversation.
I want to get into that because right now is like a hot topic.
I don't think I want to say my beliefs on it.
No, well, I mean,
I'm pretty independent when it comes to if we're gonna get into that. And
yeah, it's
just
not
like-
about picking sides.
Yeah.
It's more about talking about the process of what we do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we have a system, and everyone kind of follows it. People, you know, you have your people that are for whether we're talking about electoral college or not. You know,
Yep.
but then more what I want to talk about is the way that we go about doing it.
Okay.
Whether it's mail in person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. We could talk about it.
For me personally, I don't know how we're in 2020 and we're coming to a point where
Hey, before we switch over into this topic, I want to hear what happened with the truck.
well,
Did
the
you get
truck
the-
is
the truck is-
I drive it today. But
What
it's
happens
just
if
nobody.
you get pulled over?
I don't know, man. Hopefully, I don't get pulled over.
just tell the cops you're on the phone with
I
the
will
DMV.
show them the emails, and I'll be like, dude, I don't know what you want me to do. I tried.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you don't have anything. You've tried what you can do.
It's so dumb. I want to
But-
sell it too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just about that. Like, I'm gonna sell it, buy a car, flip the car, buy a truck next year when I need
Yeah.
it, flip it again.
Can't
Like,
really sell it though without the title.
No, that's the problem.
That's the
here.
worst.
I
Yeah.
just did a title switch
Yeah.
at the DMV during COVID. They told me it's going to be, 2-3 months. I just got it today. It's been a month and a half.
There's obviously some clerical error though here with you that is
I can't get the
leading-
guy's driver's license number. So
Yeah.
I'm like, who owns it?
It's one of those things where you don't have the guy's contact information anymore.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah, that is.
That is crazy.
See, I had his number still, but he would still answer me. Like 2 months after I sold it, I had like a question about the keypad on the door. He still answered me.
Yeah.
6 months after I sold it, he changed phone numbers. Like, it's
Oh.
disconnected. So like, that's like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do about that?
Yeah,
you
I don't
got a
even
hold
know.
of him on Craigslist or what?
Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace.
You can't find his Facebook?
No, I mean it's like his name is like Hugo. Something. It's like very common name.
A
in Texas.
common-
Like holy crap.
probably like 30 of 'em.
500 of them.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a Jack here or
That's-
something. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
it's just ridiculous.
That's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I wish I.
Who knows, man? It's just I'm gonna run it till it dies, and hopefully I don't get pulled over.
That's just crazy, though, at the DMV that they're not like, hey, this guy signed in the wrong place. You know
That's
what I mean?
what I said. It's their fault. Give
Yeah.
me the title. Like if
Yeah.
you wouldn't have sent me home saying yes, I have a receipt. You took my money.
I know,
so it's your
especially
fault.
after
Yeah.
you pay
Like-
for
Yeah.
it.
I-
That's crazy.
I don't know. It's a government thing. It's a government thing
crappy
like we're talking
topic,
about.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but 2020 though, and we can't figure out how to do voting right. We
Do-
just can't.
yeah. Well-
because right now, let's just think about what's going on here. So I know that the media right now is 100% reporting that Biden won the election.
Correct.
Biden won the popular vote. The electoral college has to verify, or the electoral votes have to be certified by each state,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the chances of Biden winning are astronomically high.
Yep.
There's still, from what I hear from people on both sides, there's a chance that Trump could come back and win this whole thing if he flips enough states, which is a crazy thing. And I know people are gonna be, get all mad about that, but
Yeah.
hey, we got to realize reality
For sure.
and we got to be non-biased about what the real things going on.
Yeah.
For some reason, the media doesn't want to talk about Trump still having a chance. Obviously,
sure.
because there's a hatred for Trump, and there's a joy that Biden won, and there's a excitement in this country for the direction that things are going.
Yep.
And so they would hate to see Trump turn it around.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Oh God, man, this is a tough topic just because I have so many thoughts on it. But it's like
Yeah.
you don't want to burn bridges because so many people are so far right, so far left.
Uh-huh.
I'm
You-
pretty-
isn't that sad though nowadays?
Yeah,
we
it's
have
terrible,
to,
right?
It's crazy.
So I'm pretty independent. I voted for Joe Jorgensen in all disclosure, third party, and people be like, "That's a waste of a vote." But I believe that we shouldn't have a two-party system, so that's
Yeah.
why I vote in that. If you vote, I like you because you are exercising your right as an American,
Exactly.
right? If
Yep.
you're going to vote, I don't care who you vote for, at least you're voting.
Yep.
My thoughts on all of this is, of course, the media is definitely Democratic. Like, that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a fact. Everybody knows that. But the problem I get into with the saying everything is fraud and just creating that narrative, right? I believe you can speak stuff into existence. And if you're going to make the whole country think that 100% of it is rigged, right? Like, what is a lot of people going to think, especially people that like you, that
Yeah.
like or whatever, confirmation bias or whatever that word is I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Yep.
So my problem with him stating that at the level he's stating it, and I also saw, I don't know, maybe you should fact check this. I'm pretty sure somebody from Texas in the government that's a Republican, like a senator possibly, said they're offering up to $1 million for people that'll come forward with voter fraud.
Oh yeah, I did. I
So-
heard about that. Yeah, I think it was $1 million.
I have a problem with that from a common sense standpoint, not from a right-left standpoint, where anybody that lives in the middle of nowhere that hasn't seen more than $100 in 10 years is going to make every story up possible.
Yep.
And then people are going to start believing that.
Yep.
Like, that's just, if there's fraud, light them up for it. But that will get figured out in the courts if you
Exactly.
believe in America, right?
Yep.
So if you're on the right and you're like, America's so great, then let the court system do what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
Trump can say 1 or 2 times, hey, I got concerns about the way this was handled and there might be some really bad stuff going on.
Yeah.
Hey? But then back off and lead our country correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way I side with Biden, and I would never vote for the guy, and
Yeah.
I would never vote for Trump, honestly, full disclosure. But where I can side with Biden is if you check his Twitter and take the name away. Tell me who you want running our country. Who's more positive?
For who? Between Joe Biden and Trump?
Yes, take the name away. Take the name away. Take
do
the
you
right
mean?
and left away, right?
What do you mean?
Like, pull up their Twitter, right?
Oh, just going off of social media? Okay.
Pull up their Twitter. Exit, blank out the name and
Yeah.
scroll the feed.
Go through it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent for
I see what you're saying.
I'm a
I
big
see what you're
proponent
saying.
for. I don't think anybody can really mess up America in 4 years, right? Like, completely. Like, everybody says it's the end of the world if Biden wins. Everybody says it's the end of the world if Trump wins.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough checks and balances, and there's enough smart people in this country
Exactly.
that nobody's gonna burn it down, like, completely. Obviously, rioting, yes, but then you get it. Then you get into that, and that's
Yeah.
the foundation of America.
Yep.
People can exercise their right to do things like that. Like,
Yep.
that's basically how America got started with the Boston Tea Party. So I just come full circle to, like, a lot of people say that the youth is so messed up, right? And that the youth is the ones burning down the city. The youth is the ones. But then you look at our leadership, and what are you portraying?
Yeah.
So at what point do you draw the line between blaming that on them and blaming that on who they're looking up to?
Yeah.
Correct? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you watch a speech, and I don't care about policy. I'm not talking about that right now. But you watch a speech, and not between Biden, because obviously he has some troubles talking, but I feel like everybody does, honestly, in certain aspects. And then you watch a speech Trump talk, and then you watch a speech Obama talk. Like, if you take away the name, take away the whatever, like, who do you want your kids listening to? And, like, that's where I get into, like, it's so tough for me to agree with Trump. I don't mind him as a person, I really don't, or a businessman. But I have a problem with the way he conducts himself, and then people blaming our mess up society and our mess up generation on themselves.
Yeah.
But top-down leadership, and, like, let's say you're on a basketball team, right? Your star player, your leader, is a dipshit, right?
Yeah.
Like, is pretty, like, one-sided, like, doesn't care what you think, like, whatever. And then you got a guy that picks everybody up and is positive. Like,
Yep.
who do you want to play for?
Yep.
Like, it's just tough for me because I know, obviously, like, everybody thinks it's a slippery slope if we go Democratic because they're going to turn it into socialist, whatever hole. But I truly believe that our government works. Obviously not great, but it works enough.
Yeah.
And I believe in America enough that
Yeah.
I think that no matter who's leading our country, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If we just create a positive narrative. Like, sorry, I'm just going on and on, but
No,
this is
you're
a big
good.
topic
You're
for
good.
me. Stocks, for example, right? I'm somewhat into that. Don't know a whole ton, but into it. It's fun.
Yep.
And
Can make some money.
yeah, you can. I'm in an investing GM on Snapchat with like 30 kids, right? Right before the election, everybody's like, "Oh my god! Like, if Biden wins, the market is gonna like be like, how much do you know about stocks?
Yeah.
Like, the Nasdaq's gonna be at nothing, next to nothing. Like the S&P 500 is going to drop from 3,000 to 1,500. It's going to be the worst recession ever. Just if Biden wins, right?
Yeah.
It's burn the whole country down, basically. The stock market's never going to be good again.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that's the same type of narrative that they're creating with voter fraud. Like if you speak it into existence, it'll happen because everybody's gonna panic. If you're saying that it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen because everybody's gonna be like, hey, I'm not gonna lose 10 grand today. I'm gonna pull everything out before the election. That's gonna cause it to crash no matter who wins. Now you look at the stock market. New high.
Yeah, all-time
high.
Doing good.
It's
really
doing
good.
great.
Yeah.
I've made more money in the last month than in September and August. I lost a hefty amount of money. Right now, it's back to good, and we're sailing good. And that's where I get into whatever narrative you're pushing, especially if you get enough people behind it, it's gonna be the true narrative. And just don't create that situation until it happens. Be positive. About anything. If it's right, if it's left, if it's straight, if it's narrow, if it's up, if it's down. If you're positive things are gonna happen. Until negative things happen, and then if a negative thing happens, right? Like let's say it drops a little bit. Then you can worry, because it dropped. But don't worry about that until it happens.
It's a tough thing to talk about, and I think I 100% agree with you that Trump on Twitter is a horrible thing. It's a thing that probably cost him a lot of votes. Because I'm definitely more conservative leaning. I definitely look at economically. You know what I mean? Socially, I'm more independent, obviously, but. Economically, it's almost hard not to be conservative because of the things that they want to do, get rid of regulations on small businesses. They're doing a lot of things for trying to lower taxes, even though people think that, Joe Biden said, I'm not going to lower taxes on anyone that makes under $400,000 a year, something I keep hearing.
Yep.
But it's the same thing with minimum wage. If Joe Biden raises taxes on the wealthy, that affects their company, which affects
everything.
100%. It's a rain down. You know what I mean?
It's a tough decision from each way because no way is going to be 100% right. But here's where I honestly was thinking about voting for Trump for a second, to be honest.
Yeah.
If he would just stand up there and take something off the chest and say, hey, we messed up.
Yep.
Let's reevaluate and put our best foot forward.
Yep.
Taking any bit of ownership is a big thing for me. That's my parents did a great job of instilling that in me when I was growing up. If you mess up, just admit it, right? I'm not going to hate you for anything you do.
Yep.
If you say, hey, I messed up, we messed up, our experts, hey, we made the wrong call. Let's reassess, go to plan B, the next best plan. If it doesn't work, we'll go to plan C.
Yep.
Instead of just keep saying, we're doing great, we're doing great, we're doing great.
Yep. Trump won't admit he lost or that he loses. He never admits that he loses.
There's a track record of that.
Yeah. It's his word. It's his personality is toxic, and he has a lot of things about him that he does that are bad.
There's a lot of salespeople. I mean, he's a salesman.
He's a salesman,
and that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what
and
they
everyone
do.
calls
He's not a politician.
He's not a politician.
No.
Yeah, and
That's
but
why
the thing
people
is. It's a different kind of person. Obama was a very presidential person, very likable. I liked Obama, and I'm not a Democrat. I think Obama was a great guy. Did I agree with Obama on a lot of policies and stuff? Probably not.
No.
But Obama was a good guy, and he was a role model for kids, and he was a role model for people. Trump is not really a role model, banging porn stars.
Oh God,
and
man.
but he's a businessman.
Yeah.
And if 100%, if we didn't have a two-party system, I think a lot of our issues would be figured out.
Yeah.
And I have to say, after this year and everything that's going to happen, I think some crazy things are going to happen in the next 2 months. I think we're getting away from a two-party system because you're going to have
a dream.
You're going to have right now you have people that are kind of you have your party people, and then you have your far left, far right, and then you have people that kind of want something more in between. And people right now are more polarized than ever.
Yes.
So they want to split it up, and Trump winning in 2016 proves that other people have a chance to be president, not somebody that's been in politics their entire life.
So there's one thing that I've heard about that I've listened to some podcasts on, and I follow a page on Instagram that's anti-corruption, basically in the middle.
Yep.
Ranked choice voting, and I don't know a whole lot about it other than it makes it much easier for a non-party candidate to win, non-major party candidate to win. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know, you should probably look it up yourself because I'm not Google, but I'm pretty sure ranked choice voting means you can order the candidates in the order you'd want to see them in office. So you don't have to pick exactly between the lesser of two evils, right? You have a bunch of choices. So maybe that could open something up. I know a lot of places are actually passing, like
Really?
even in Minnesota, some of the smaller like
You're right, though, how you're saying it.
Minnetonka?
They're ranking candidates by preference on their ballots. So it's putting them in an order instead of one, this is the main one I'm picking or whatever.
Yeah. Represent Us is a Instagram page, and I'd say follow it. It's very
Pretty good.
It's very informative, and it's not super right or super left. They kind of just say facts, and they don't want corruption. So
Yeah.
I really stand with what they're doing. I'm trying to find that some state or some cities passed it for like their smaller ballots or whatever they have
Like
on
local government.
Yeah, in Minnesota, possibly like Minnetonka, I want to say. I don't know. I saw it sometime, but it's getting there.
What's the purpose of doing that would be better than, because you said it's picking the lesser of two evils instead of, it's not doing that. It's more ranking people on how you want them.
So, right, look at this. If you're far right,
Yep.
you're going to put Trump first. Let's say there's 10 choices. You're going to put Biden last.
Oh, okay.
So the second person is going to get a lot of points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So maybe he'd end up beating because 50-50 gave first and then
Oh,
last.
Gotcha.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Joe Jorgensen, you know,
I
she
mean,
might have
hey,
done
and-
wonders.
Yeah, I mean,
And here's the craziest part. Joe Jorgensen is probably, if you look at policy, very, very similar to Trump, with a couple of exceptions like
Yeah.
the views on social issues and marijuana.
Yep.
But the thing is, she's a lot more temper-minded than
And like
Trump.
the thing is too, like at this point, I'm not super concerned about like policy, and people would light me up for that. But I'm just more concerned with I vote that way because I believe in changing the two-party system. That's what I'm most passionate about, so I'll vote that way.
Yep.
If you're most passionate about policy, vote right or left. But
Yeah.
ranked choice voting, it's pretty cool. I like that. I mean, obviously there's probably some problems with it,
Yeah.
but it's getting passed in some cities. So maybe we see that in our lifetime.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
But it brings us back to the topic of how do you, in 2020, it's just like one of the things I've heard. How come we couldn't have Trump and Biden sit down with Joe Rogan for 4 hours and just talk? We're in 2020. How come we can't have that? Or not just, let's forget Joe Rogan because people said he he would never vote for Biden or whatever.
Yeah.
Get a non-biased person. How come
I
we
mean, they
can't
try
have,
that.
do they? The debates are horrible.
Well, they're just horrible because they
because
can't
they have-
conduct themselves in a mature manner.
They have all the questions ahead of time.
Yeah,
They know what they're going to get asked.
yeah.
You're never going to get the real Joe Biden or the real Trump unless you get them in a room. Nobody's with them.
I agree.
4 hours, sit down, talk about anything. Ask them
agree.
any question.
I agree.
And the worst thing about the debate is you ask them a question, they never answer.
Yeah, ever. They're
Neither-
both so good
both.
at it, man.
They're
like
everybody in
that's what they're trained
politics.
to do.
They're trained to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every businessman, every politician.
crazy.
Ask them a question, they'll tell you 10 different things, but you're never going to get the answer. So how come we can't have that in 2020? Is it?
I mean, that's a question for not me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to get that with the two-party system. I think you let at least two other independents up on the stage. People might vote for them because they're going to be like, hey,
Yeah.
they can actually talk.
Isn't it crazy they can't be part of the debate?
I had an argument with somebody who was far right about this, saying that it was ridiculous that Kanye West was running, and I was like, "You put that guy up on a." Did you listen to Joe Rogan with him?
I did. Part of it, not the whole thing.
I mean, the guy's scatterbrained, but
Yeah.
at least he can talk, right? Like
Yeah.
he has like some positive factor about him where you like, okay, like he's at least trying to do good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I said, like, I'm like, yeah, it might be ridiculous. Like he's probably not going to win. But for one, Trump won just like that. Like everybody's like, how is that guy on the card at
Yeah.
first, right?
Yeah.
It was like a complete dream and a hope at
No
first.
one thought he could win.
Exactly. So then this guy, and I'm not saying he should be our president. I wouldn't vote for him personally.
Yeah.
But I got in the argument with put him on a debate stage. He might impress us way more than them two. If you look at the first debate, I watched the whole thing. I don't know if you did.
Horrible.
Horrible.
Anybody, you could have stood up there.
Anybody
could have stood up there, and that's like, it's a problem.
It is. And
Do you know Andrew Yang?
yeah, I do.
I'm a big fan of Andrew Yang.
like Andrew
I would
Yang?
fly an Andrew Yang flag. I would. I like that guy.
It's
and like,
crazy though that the Democratic Party pretty much screwed everybody
else.
out to pick Biden.
That's ridiculous.
Why would you pick Biden over everybody? There was a lot of really good candidates who could talk. and
different
had-
people that
You know,
could,
I don't think Bernie Sanders had a chance really just because of how far
Left,
left he
yeah.
is. But there was other people that on that stage Andrew Yang was one of them. There was other
Yang's
people.
great.
The thing with the giving people money,
The UBI,
I don't
freedom
know.
dividend.
I don't know if that worked.
So that's the only thing that I didn't get behind right away.
really, that seems like the main thing people get on
Yeah,
Andrew Yang for.
100%. But if where I'm coming from and what I've tried to iterate the whole time is I'm not super policy driven.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to burn our country down. I really don't. I just like the way the guy conducts himself. And if you listen to the Rogan with him, he's talking about issues that nobody else will touch. The education system, technology catching up,
Yep.
depression, suicide, mental health. He's talking about issues that nobody else will touch.
They don't
because
want to.
Nobody else is wanting to take a super far or super wrong stance on it, right?
Yep.
And you don't even have to have an opinion on those topics, but at least he's bringing them to light.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like about him. Like, I hated the freedom dividend right away. I'm like, I could never get behind this guy because of that, right?
Yeah.
But the way he explains it and like the way he would pull the money, it honestly probably wouldn't be the worst thing. And I'm not
No.
super socialist, but I don't think that's burning our country down. And
No.
it's probably just going to get reversed when a Republican hits office 4 years later.
Exactly.
That's the thing that people don't understand. Like, we're not a dictatorship. One guy that goes up there isn't going to burn our whole country down
No.
forever.
Right.
Like,
no.
I don't know. I like Yang. I think he's got a shot next.
Oh, you think he'll run again?
He on Bovada betting odds. He's like the fourth favorite for
Really?
overall. Yeah, he's
Wow.
a second or third. I mean, he's probably the third favorite for the Democratic candidate. Obviously, Biden first, Kamala
Yep.
second,
Yep.
him third.
Wow.
But so I saw an interesting stat before the primaries, before like everybody else was out other than Biden. Head to head against Trump, he had by far the best odds. Like
Really?
I don't know where the data came from, but I saw it, and like he had by far the best odds head to head against Trump
Wow.
of winning the presidency. But he was like the seventh on getting the primary. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, like
it's crazy. People, it's all about like you said, the personality.
Yeah.
Like people want to get behind. That's why people love Trump. That are so diehard Trump fans because he's got the personality. He's got the big like you're fired. Like yeah, people love that, and people want somebody that is a big leader guy to come in and like and some candidates just don't show that.
And I think in 2016, I have no problem with you voting for him at all. Like he showed promising things in 2016, 100%. Like if I was able to vote, I missed it by like a month. If I was able to vote, I probably would have voted him in 2016 just by the way he talked. Like on Rogan, keep bringing up Rogan, but it's just great
Yeah,
information.
it
Man.
is,
It's like
yeah.
the best place to get information.
It is, yeah.
They had one like a couple weeks back where they were saying, the guy was saying like Trump did a terrible job campaigning the second time. He didn't say anything. He just held big rallies and did this. Like the first time, if you were to look up, like you can watch it yourself at home, but 2016 Trump final campaign ad. It's like a 3-minute ad. It's great.
Really?
Like super like instilling, super positive, super leader, super like all good things, right?
Yep.
You look at his final campaign ad 2020, it's him dancing to the YMCA for 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
He got a little too cocky.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got a
You know what
little
I'm
too
saying?
cocky,
Like,
yeah.
you just
Yeah.
got to run a better campaign and
Yeah.
you probably
Yep.
win.
Yep.
Like, when the guy said that, I think this guy is Republican too, and he just brought it to light. He's like, this might have been where he screwed up.
Yep.
And then when I watched it myself, I was like, holy crap, the difference is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's so many things that happened that probably lost Trump the campaign, but
Yeah.
Trump knew that they were going to do the mail-in ballots. The Democrats have been talking about this for months, that they're going to do mail-in ballots and they're going to go heavy with it. And Trump just tried playing it off like, no mail-in ballots, no mail-in ballots. But if he would have had more of his supporters rally around the mail-in ballots, he could have won by a lot. It's one of those things you never know. It could have.
That's another thing where, like, I'm not totally against that. I'm against the way we conduct it because somehow we can't figure out. But then that's also, like, do you know that we didn't conduct a secure election? Or
Well,
is
now-
that just what people think because everybody's saying it? You don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
we can't know.
it's one of those things where the media is saying it was the most secure election of all time, and then
Did you see his like cybersecurity advisor or some
I saw that
He got fired.
He got
because said it
fired.
was the
Yeah.
most-
Yeah. I don't know if I can agree with it was the most secure election of all time.
Yeah, you don't- but-
After hearing all the news things coming out every day, it's
You don't
like,
know what to believe though.
That's
and
the
that's
thing.
The
That's what
whole
I'm trying
thing.
to iterate.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
until like if a court says it, I will believe it.
Yep.
But until a court says anything, I'm just gonna believe that hey, we're good.
Yep.
Because I truly believe that a court will find it.
Yep.
And that's like what one person said. I can't remember. They said like, if they were to cheat in this manner, like we need those people. We need to hire them for the CIA. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And that's
You
where
got
like I
away
get
with it.
back to like, hey, it might be, and I'm not writing it off that Trump
Yeah.
could still win or that it was fraudulent, but I just don't like the narrative of like creating that hey, it was fraudulent.
Yeah.
Like, that's undermining our democracy.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
And if it was fraudulent, they will for sure find that in the courts.
They'll figure it
Light
out.
him up for it, and
Yep.
then Trump will win. I'm
Yep.
okay with that if that's truth.
Typical Trump fashion, though, going hardcore on Twitter and going hard, like, again and
Just
again and
doesn't
again and
stop.
again. You pretty much ask any Trump supporter, what they don't like about the president. Oh, he should stay off Twitter. Like, any
Yeah,
old person, any young person, he just loves Twitter. He loves going hard with it. And it's
the type
kind of
of
cool.
personality he has.
It's kind of cool, though, in 2020 that we have a direct way the president can type something without going through 10 different people.
So that's like the positive to social media, right? Like
Yeah.
they're connecting everybody. But then it's like that's where the negative. It's the same thing with video games. It's the same thing with everything. in life.
Everything,
You need
yeah.
a balance, right?
Yep,
Like, are
yep.
you using it as a positive thing? Are you connecting with people that might help you in business, in life, in
Yep.
wellness, and anything? Or are you using it to scroll for 6 hours a day and find every fake news thing right and left possible?
Yep.
And every person with more money than you and better looking than you, and you're getting depressed over it. Like,
Yeah.
Then clearly that's not good.
No.
Use it for the first three things. It's good.
Yep.
All right, boys. That's probably enough politics for the night.
Well, I
We
wanted-
could go, dude. We
I
should
wanted-
go for
You
like
could
3
talk about
hours.
it all
I wanted-
night long.
I will go as
Yeah, I
long
wanted-
as we can talk, dude. I love.
Hey, you
literally-
could literally talk about it in every different way.
We're not
all
even.
night
I
long.
feel like we're not even getting that political. It's just more non-biased. Like,
See, and that's where I try to bring it to like. I won't hate you if you have far right beliefs, as long
Yeah.
as you'll have a conversation with me.
Exactly.
I won't hate you if you have far left
Yeah.
beliefs.
Yep.
Like the worst people are the right and the left that won't have a conversation.
yeah, and you see that more and more nowadays.
it's
it's
terrible.
like if you don't agree with me, shut up and get out of my house. Like,
He's
Yeah,
just like,
that's
I'm
crazy.
sick and tired of hearing politics. Come on, let's move on.
well, I want to. We never even got to the main thing I wanted to talk about, which is it's not even a left or right. It's more of what the hell is wrong with us. We cannot do. We cannot have a voting system in this country that is something that everyone can stand behind. Like, it's 2020. We have all the technology. How come we can't have something where you walk in, it takes a picture of you, you fill out a Scantron, put it right in. There's no bullshit. Talk to somebody, whatever, because apparently people are telling you who to vote for. Walk in. There's a camera. It shows you doing it. Boom, bap. Take it. Boom.
yeah.
How come we can't have that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a question for the government,
I don't trust
which
the government.
I don't think
yeah.
they care about, right or left.
Yeah. I mean, the only positive thing about this election this year is
Voter
the
turnout.
amount of people that came out and voted.
Great.
It was unbelievable voter turnout
during COVID.
during COVID.
Well, that's because of the mail-in ballots.
Is
True.
it because of the mail-in ballots?
I would believe so because it makes it so much easier too. Like even me, like I'm a pretty outgoing person, pretty comfortable in any situation. Even me voting for the first time, I was like, oh shit, a little nervous. Like
Mm-hmm.
some people probably can't get over that and want to stay at home because they're like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a process. Like
Yeah.
you can just request your ballot, get it. But that's why I think we need to figure out a way to do it on our phone. Enter your
Yeah.
social security number, take a picture of you. Enter your birth date, verify your address,
Yep.
all from your phone.
Yeah.
Voter turnout will be 10 times higher.
yeah.
And you can still go in person and do it the way you said if you want to do that because that's
Yep.
your right. But
Can it get hacked though? Can that get
I
hacked?
don't know. But that's the thing. Like, how can we have millions of bank accounts
True.
that are
On your phone.
and millions of government secrets that are secure, and we can't? I just think they don't want a 100% secure election because
That's
it gives both sides the opportunity to bitch.
Yeah.
And it gives both sides the opportunity to somewhat control it because it's going on both sides.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the media, so they have more stuff to talk about on their news stations.
The media will cover it either way. The media,
I don't know.
I'm not a fan of the media this year. Has really came out to be like a negative thing. I feel like the media, whether you're left or right,
It's just not good.
it's not good at all. They have really shown that you cannot trust them.
Yep.
With the amount of articles that have came out that turned out to be false, with the amount of information that they put out which turns out to be false,
I agree with that.
they rush so quick to get the article out that
They got to be first.
yeah, they got to be first. We've become
That
such a culture where it's got to be now. It's got to be right now.
that's where we get back to even the chip in your arm thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to do it right now. 20 years down the road, when you're obsolete, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
True.
that's the same human nature type of thing where like you want to be first. Like
Yeah.
that's why you cut corners to get a promotion. Like it's
Yep.
just the human nature to advance.
It is, yeah. And it's. I mean, at the point we're at right now, with everything going on, I mean, I don't think anything could happen that would surprise us.
No, that's the thing, man.
In 2020,
the news is ridiculous. Like some of the news about both presidential candidates, like back in the day, right? Like that'll wreck somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Like both ways.
Yep.
Ways they have things come out about them that's like, if this was 2008 and maybe even 2004 or whenever the other one was 12.
12, yeah.
If
Wouldn't
things
have
come
gone.
out like that, they'd have been done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like people are so blinded
Yeah.
by both sides.
I think we've seen it all now.
We have.
So what?
You never know, man. It just keeps going.
Our last guest we had on the podcast, we talked to her, and she was saying the future presidential candidates, because we were talking about social media, going back and finding what people posted like when they were in high school. She's like, you guys gotta be ready for a presidential candidate who has an OnlyFans or had an OnlyFans in high school. But hey, how true is that? Like,
it is and it isn't. Like,
I
man,
mean,
that's a whole nother topic.
it
you know,
is,
like,
but
hey, grind, man. You got to get the money somehow. I
Uh-huh.
have no problem with that.
but is
then
that
that's-
disqualifying factor? I don't think it should be.
It depends. It depends how you want our society to run. I think, like, if you're okay with that 100%, like, then yes, a role model can have that. But it just depends 100% on what way you want to take our society.
I just think people change, and
People do
what you
change.
did
You need
when
a second chance.
Yeah, what you did when
got
you
no
were
problem
a
with that.
teenager is not what you're gonna do when you're 35.
Wait till they got one while they're in the White House.
They got OnlyFans
That's
in the
too
Oval
far.
Office.
That's too
dirty,
I-
dirty videos in the Oval Office.
I'm pretty indifferent on that topic.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
You know, because we were talking about like Kevin Hart and like things that he tweeted when he was younger, and then how he couldn't host the Grammys.
Yes.
You know, ridiculous.
Cancel
I think
culture.
it's cancel
I
culture.
think it's ridiculous.
Cancel culture is a cancer. I'm not a fan of it. I hate it. I think it's ridiculous. It absolutely gets rid of the fact that people deserve a second chance and forgiveness, and that they grow, and it gets rid of the time for people to get better. If all we're gonna say is you're a bad person because you did this 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm not about that. I like giving people second chances.
Yeah.
As long as they admit, you know. Like,
Yeah.
That's the thing too. If you did something stupid,
Acceptance.
tell me you did it, right? Be
Yep.
like, take it off the chest. God, I screwed up, man.
Yep.
Move on.
What if you're Chris D'Elia though?
Who's that?
Chris D'Elia was the guy that he was a comedian, and he got all these allegations for rape and stuff like that. Which you
There's-
never heard of Chris D'Elia before?
No, man.
Let me show you a picture of him.
Maybe
This
I've
is a
seen him.
huge story.
Well, then there's the line of what's acceptable and what's not. 'Cause
Yeah.
that, I mean, if you get charged of that, I'm not for. Oh yeah, 100%.
He was in a bunch of TV shows,
God.
Netflix.
This guy.
Canceled now, but hey, for good reason probably. Because
no
to me,
way.
sexual assault,
That's
rape allegations are
no
the
way.
highest. But you
can't
got to
be-
be able to prove it though, because
There's a
you've-
lot of-
there's a lot of fake. You know, it's always about believe the victim, which I 100% think women need to be heard. But
That's a
you
whole
got to
other
be able to. You got to be able to believe. You got to be able to prove that,
Yeah.
because you could destroy someone's entire career. His case, there was text messages, there was
You can't be-
internet messages, stuff.
That's over.
He's over. He's done for.
over.
And he was a rising, going to be one of the top comedians.
Man, him.
Yeah.
Jeez. I know him. He
Deserves what he's gonna get for doing what he did.
Well, he'll never work
Yes.
another day in Hollywood. He'll never. do
And that's
another
exactly
comedy tour.
what should
Yeah.
happen if he's actually
If you're
guilty.
doing that, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things that are excusable and there's some things that aren't. But that's
Yeah.
like the tough thing of like, where do you draw the line? you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And then cancel culture nowadays is like nothing. There's no line. There's just like you did something. You're
You're
done.
done.
You're
yeah,
done.
that's true.
It's and like you look at like Ellen, you look at there's all these other celebrities right now. It's like it's almost impossible to find an up and coming celebrity that you couldn't go find something
Some
that they
dirt
did
on,
and dig up dirt on them and cancel their career. It's I don't know. I'm not a fan of the cancel culture. I think there's got to be a line, like you said, drawn to where there's certain things that are horrible. But if you called someone gay when you were 12 or 13, and it might have been a different time. Like when we were growing up, I know that was like something that you did. Like not did, but it was a term that was acceptable at
I
the
ain't
time.
saying anything on that topic, man.
Nothing on that one.
Logan's not commenting.
I'm
on
not.
The
I'm
topic.
not. I don't like getting aggressive on either side of that.
Yeah, but you know where I'm coming from. Though.
Yeah, 100%.
Different times have
Some
different.
people believe that you should be toast for that. Some people don't. And I can't side with that just because I don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah.
But like I do think there are actions that are forgivable. I'm not going to list which ones are forgivable
Yep.
because I don't want that. Like
Yeah.
I don't want that out there.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Some actions are forgivable 100%. Some people shouldn't be canceled for some things they do.
Yeah. No, I 100%
Tough.
agree. It is.
And then, like, that's subject to personal opinion, too. Everybody has a voice. So you
Mm-hmm.
get to choose. But I think people just jump on it because they want to be a part of something. So if somebody's talking shit about somebody because they did something stupid that isn't even that bad, let's just jump on them because we want to see them go down.
Yep.
I think that's more of what it is. Like, you might envy somebody that's, like, has more money than you or you think is more successful than you, right? They
Yep.
screw up a little bit. you're gonna jump on that train because you want to get in. That's back to the human nature of getting ahead. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like tough thing to stop.
It's tough to draw a line there. What do you think about censorship on social media?
God, that's a really big topic.
Because this is
Dude,
something
I
that
don't
just
know.
happened, like Twitter, Facebook.
100%. I mean,
Dorsey, Zuckerberg.
I saw them testify in front
Yeah.
of us. I watched a little bit of it, but then I
Yeah.
had to go to work.
It's a long thing. They were on there for 4 hours.
I don't know. I don't think that's like really my decision. I think there's some things. Comes back to everything. There's some things that should not be on there. Terrorism being one of them, 100%. Like,
Should fake news be on there?
no.
Who's to determine if it's fake
That's
or not?
what you. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like everybody,
They
that's the
can't. They
problem.
can't. They, my opinion, they can't. They can't be the judges of what is acceptable or not because Twitter and Facebook have become such a mega platform.
Utility.
Could literally determine who's the president, and people are like, that's crazy. Well,
It's true.
everybody's
For some
on.
people, that's true.
How many people are on Facebook now? Like billions of people, and
Trillions.
Twitter is really up there too. I mean, the president
Twitter.
and I do love Twitter.
Twitter's great.
But they got to take accountability when they're blocking people. They're picking sides.
See, that's where the blocking stories completely. If it's not something that's obvious like terrorism or sexual assault,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
blacklist the hell out of that. Yeah, it's
Yep.
fine. The blocking stories that could possibly be true, could possibly be not. I have a problem with that. I don't know if I 100% have a problem with them putting something down there saying like, hey, this hasn't been proven true or false.
Yeah.
Like, because that's where you get to like the propaganda of both sides where like you can create whatever narrative you want with enough posts and that's what they're going to feed you.
Yep.
So I don't know if I have a whole problem with them flagging stuff and saying, hey, this may or may not be true. They can't say it's not or it is. But if it's like a controversial topic that hasn't been proven,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them putting something saying like, this isn't, you know what I mean? Like this is not fact checked, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that because I do think people are just so easily manipulated and or confirmation bias. Or, I don't know what exactly the word I'm looking for. I think it's
It
that.
is confirmation bias.
Yeah, like that's so heavy, especially when it comes to politics and things like that. Like whatever you see from whoever tweeted it that you like, you're gonna believe, even if it is fake or real.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with them putting maybe like a teeny disclaimer saying like, hey, you never know.
Yep.
But I have a problem with like shadow banning people and just completely taking their voice away.
Yeah.
I do have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them flagging tweets that are ridiculous, but they
Yeah.
should do it both ways. I agree. It's probably way more towards the right.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem if they're going to do it both sides on stuff that isn't proven. If
Yep.
they're going to say, hey, just take a look, make your own decision, like don't just believe what this guy's saying, right or left. But I 100% have a problem with them taking voices away.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing because you look at it's not a good thing. It's a good topic you brought up though because you look at somebody like Alex Jones, banned from YouTube, banned from Twitter, banned from iTunes, banned from everything. He made some horrible statements. He said horrible things about
yeah.
Sandy Hook. He got people after the Sandy Hook parents.
Yeah, that was brutal.
It was. Came forward, apologized. No one covered it.
Yeah.
I think Alex Jones is hilarious. I think people take him way too literally. I think
he means well.
I think
So-
he's uncovered some crazy
Yeah,
stuff. I
100%.
think when he comes on Rogan, it's some of the best
Great.
talk you
Watch
could get.
that whole thing every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish that stuff was 8 hours.
I
man.
know,
Like, I could go
it's-
all day listening to that
He
stuff.
can scream into a mic for forever, probably. And I don't think anybody, unless we're talking terrorism, unless we're talking sexual, like you said, anyone should be banned for good. And he can never come back on those platforms now.
Yeah, that's not right. I don't believe in that.
Ridiculous.
See, and that's where like I would side right. So like there's issues I would side right with
Yep.
Republican. There's issues I would side left with Democratic. And that's why like I'm just not gonna pick
That's
the
good, though.
I'm not gonna pick the lesser of two evils. That's why I picked the middle.
Yeah. Well, and you might not, you pick the middle, but you go.
I have a reason for picking the middle and I will see both sides of like
Exactly.
I just try to be like have some common sense, like
Yeah.
there's some things that are just too far each way.
Yep. No, I agree. I think that's the best way to do it. Obviously, everyone kind of grows up and they have their preconceived notions. We get
Especially
these
parents.
echo chambers, whatever that we get into. You got to look out. You got to go to all your sources. You can't go to just CNN. You can't go to Fox. You got to go everywhere.
Everywhere.
You got to look at everybody.
Fact check stuff yourself.
Podcasters, independent news journalists. There's so many people out there now with Twitter. You
Yeah,
can-
the Ethan Clare show.
The Ethan Clare. Apparently now we're getting the politics. We never do either.
I mean,
we
it's
we
not
never
a s-
do.
Yeah, and like I used to hate it, right? Like I would never say a word because I hate conflict in that
Yeah,
issue
yeah.
where like I don't know I'm right. So I would never say a word until about the last year because it started to get out of hand for me where like I felt like I needed to like start saying some things to some people where it's
Yep.
like, hey, open your eyes, you know? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Like some of it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about and doesn't need to be talked about in a right or left, but just American issues, right? Like we have so many more things to get into, dude. I could go for like 8 hours. But like the education system being one of them.
Get into the education system. I want to hear about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real
All right.
Yeah, I gotta pee in a little bit here too, but
This is what they do on Rogan. They
yeah,
just
dude,
pee in the
I swear to God, how long's the longest one you've done?
We've done an hour and
Can we do longer?
huh? We've literally
I
hey,
could
here's the
go
thing.
for-
We never have like a cutoff. Like we never say we're doing it.
Nobody's lasted longer than an hour and a
No,
half.
no, no. It was an hour and I think it was close to 2 hours we
Okay.
did. I don't know how long it's been now. It's been 8:49. I don't know when we started.
We just keep going.
We just go until
we're
we run
done.
out of stuff.
Let me-
Exactly. There's no set time on that. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of one of those things where we talk, we figure out the direction of the conversation.
I just gotta tell people that are trying to reach me that I'm a little because I didn't know it was gonna be this long. But
Oh, hey, yeah, no, we can. I want to get into the education system.
probably traveling. We need to cover all these.
Yeah,
Education
yep,
system,
traveling.
traveling. My business, because he said he wanted to hear about it. Entrepreneurship for
Entrepreneurship, yeah,
sure.
yep.
Those are the three big ones. If you think of anything else, let me
Yeah,
know, but
but we got to keep the conversation juicy, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
So,
this has been good though. I
the
love
education system. Oh man, like I'm in college. I'm graduating in 3 weeks here with a business management degree, 4-year degree. I think
this. Is your problem with the way that we do education?
yes, 100%. There needs to be education. There needs to be higher level education. But the way we structure it is ridiculous, and it hasn't been touched in years.
Yeah.
It hasn't been touched in any level, right? It hasn't been touched in elementary, junior high,
Yeah.
high school, middle school, college. Hasn't
Yeah.
been touched. That's my problem, right? Like everything gets outdated, and we're just letting it get outdated 100 years past and not changing it because
Yep.
it's such a topic that nobody wants to be wrong on. Because that's what politicians are scared of. They're scared of being wrong, screwing it up,
Yep.
and then having to take that off their chest when somebody should because it needs to change.
Yeah.
For example, this is my whole problem with it. I'm very passionate about it, and I don't have the answers, and neither does one separate person. But people need to
Yeah.
talk about it, and nobody talks about it. My problem is you go through school, kindergarten through 12th, right?
Yep.
You learn a lot, especially now, right? Where people taking calculus like 8th grade, like less than that. I mean, like
crazy.
I took it in like 11th grade. You should, but like people taking it like
Yeah.
6th, 8th grade, ridiculous.
It's nuts. Yeah.
Even at 12th grade, we don't need to learn any more math unless you're going into a field that needs to learn math, right?
Mm.
So I think it's ridiculous how in a 4-year system, we're going to send kids to school for 12 years, taxpayer dollars and government dollars, right? Like
Yep.
especially public schools, not private schools, but waste all that money and then send them back for them to go deeper and deeper into debt to take the same classes, probably less challenging than high
Literally.
school.
Yeah.
I am about to graduate, and like nothing against MSU. I probably shouldn't talk bad because I actually really like MSU. It's great
Yeah.
value for your money, especially compared to colleges around here. My issue is the whole system, but they make you take classes for 2, maybe 3 years of your 4-year degree. Like right now, I'm taking a history class, history like 171,
Yeah.
talking about stuff from the 1500s, and I had to pay $1,200 out of my pocket, and I took 6 history classes in high school.
Yeah. Yep.
I think the general problem, and it would help our economy greatly, and you can say this both ways because obviously colleges are a big part of our economy. They are majorly grossing,
Yeah.
and so are public schools, and I'm not know-it-all, but this is like the way I see it. 4-year degree, let's say I have no money, no savings, no family help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I go to a big school that's going to cost me $40,000 a year, roughly, with tuition, housing, everything, which is cheaper than some schools. That's probably like middle to high, I'd say. If
Yeah.
you get out of Minnesota, if you get anywhere that's big. Like
Yeah. It changes.
I
big
almost
time.
went to USC in California or
Oh,
Chapman, right?
my.
So I transferred from Bethany freshman year, quit basketball, didn't see a future in it, wanted to work, wanted to make money, wanted
Yeah.
to focus on professional career.
Yep.
I did that, quit at semester, and then I toured like 6 schools in California with my cousin. She lives in LA. And I loved USC, loved Chapman, wanted to go there, got back like the numbers of how much it would cost me to go there. It was like $54,000 a year. So here's my point of like, I'm in no debt now with a 4-year degree from MSU,
Yep.
have a savings. If I would have went there, I'd probably be $150,000 in debt when it's all said and done. what is hurting our economy more? Teaching kids at a higher level, the difference between a USC and a MSU for a business degree is probably next to nothing. Honestly, it's probably the same degree. Pretty close.
Yeah.
But yet they're able to charge $150,000 more dollars.
It's a money game.
So how much farther are we setting back the youth that have no direction? So they can't buy houses. They are in debt
Yep.
their whole life. And then we're blaming them. We're
Yep.
saying, why are you guys pieces of shits? Why, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
why do we have to pay
Yeah.
you unemployment?
Yeah.
Why do we have to give you a
Yeah.
stimulus check? I wonder why. Because you force them into this system
Yep.
that puts them 80% of people probably in debt. At
Yeah.
least one comma. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like at least into the thousands.
Yep.
Which is tough to recover from if you're not brought up in the right family. Like you just don't have any money sense, and they don't teach that either,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like own my own business, have no clue how to do taxes right away, right?
Yeah. It's
Why
tough.
didn't somebody teach me that in school? I would way rather value that
Uh-huh.
than learning why Louis III. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and all that is
Yeah.
fake too. Like that's like half of world history and half of history is like shaved into what we want it to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
Yep.
jeez, it's just,
There's so many directions to go with it. From what I can get from everything that I've learned about the education system is, if we got the government out of education, it would be 100 times better, because you bring in competitive education. Teachers are, it's competitive for the jobs. It's competitive for the prices that they're charging. It's competitive for it becomes a lot better when you take out the government subsidizing and government loans and government getting involved, government regulate. Get the government out of it, which is my stance on a lot of things. I hate when the government gets involved, because all they do is mess shit up and ruin it for everybody. Like, if people are so smart, we don't need the government's help to do it. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Do you think we'll see in our lifetime the education system change?
No.
I hope so.
Because right now they're making a shit ton of money.
I
They're
think
making
so.
so much money, and
I
they
think
don't
so.
they don't need to
To
change
some
it. They
level.
don't talk about it. They don't need to change it. They don't need to. Why would they?
to some level.
Why would you touch something that's profitable as hell? People are.
It's like black.
fine.
Wait. I got a perfect
Okay.
comparison.
Okay.
In a class, I just did a case on BlackBerry.
Like the phone?
Yes, the phone. You hardly even know what it is. 2008, $75 billion market cap. What their company was
Really?
valued at. Yes. Today, $1 billion, because they didn't change it. It worked.
Yep.
People loved it.
Yep.
They didn't change it. Apple innovated. Look at where we are now.
Yep.
It's the same analogy.
True.
Like,
That is true.
and people wonder why we're getting more uneducated as ever, because we can just cheat our way through it. So why are we putting kids $100,000 in debt to cheat through it? And then you can say that's like an integrity thing. Like, are you going to cheat? Are you not? It's the human nature. Get ahead. And if you're going to base if we make it through on a grade, you can't get mad at people for cheating.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to get to that grade.
Yep.
Don't base it on learning.
Exactly. Other countries use different systems
other
instead
countries.
of the grade. They do. They have.
I know.
We've
It's
talked about
great.
it. We've done a podcast on it before where I can't remember the name of it, but they do rank based grading, like what level you're on. If you're on a 4 or if you're on a 1, people are on different learning paths. Everybody's different. So how do you adjust that to meet people and their standards when we have so many diverse people in this country?
Well, it's just like it's the same. You can like chalk it up to this too. You give everybody the same medicine. Like
No.
no,
No.
you can't do that.
No.
You can't give everybody the same class
No.
and expect them to learn the
Yeah.
same. Like it's kind of the same concept. Like
Yep.
obviously a little different, but like I'm prescribed Adderall for ADHD. They don't give me a heart medication.
No,
Like
yeah.
that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
it's a pill,
Yep.
but every pill is not the same. And
That's a good
the same
analogy.
Damn thing.
It's a good analogy.
Nobody will touch it though, and that's why
No.
I like people that'll touch it. So do you know Spencer from Impulsive? I think we had this conversation a little bit at my house. Know
You're talking
Impulsive at all?
about the Logan
Logan
Paul.
Paul podcast.
I never
Okay.
watch it.
I've seen.
Okay, we
episodes.
watch it all the time.
Okay.
You guys actually should take a look. Like
Uh-huh.
people hated that guy after the Japan issue. I don't know.
The hanging.
Yeah. But cancel culture, not so much. He came back because he's positive now and he brings value.
Yep.
You should check it out. He's great.
I'm
And-
not a huge fan of Jake Paul.
Oh,
like
Jake Paul.
Logan
I'm
Paul,
neither. No,
like-
no. Jake is a whole different issue.
I'm not really
I've
a
had this-
fan of those guys. I think they've messed up a lot in the past, but I mean, if he's making a comeback, great for him.
You should listen to his podcast.
To
give
me-
him, give
to
him a
me,
chance.
yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah,
Like, give him a
I've
chance.
checked it
It's-
out.
It's completely eye opening because you got to think about it from a. We're getting so far away, but you got to think about it from a money standpoint too. If you were making that much as when you were 18,
True, yeah.
Tell me what you would have done.
True.
Yeah.
It is
Tell
true.
me what you would have done.
I'm not looking at it from like what they've done. To me, it's more of the thing like where T.I. had Alex Jones on his podcast. It's just like some things don't go together for me.
You should
like,
listen to him talk.
I've
educated.
checked some episodes out before.
You should.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
should. Give it
yeah.
a little bit more of a
Yeah,
chance.
I
But,
will.
okay, so
I saw you had like Ben Shapiro on there.
yeah, dude.
So he's had some smart guys
dude,
on there.
100%.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
people. It's
Wolf
I
of Wall
like it.
Street. He had Jordan Belfort
I like
on
it.
there. Yeah.
It's an interesting prospect. I like Rogan and him because it's a little bit of both. Rogan's a little more seriously in depth with the
Yeah.
topics, but honestly, Impulsive is great too. Like they're pretty serious about their stuff, and they're
I'll give it a
legit.
shot, yeah.
I
I'll
love
check it
that.
out, yeah.
So they had a guy named Spencer on their podcast for the first 100 episodes. I'm pretty sure he lived with them, and he ended up taking a step away and moving to like Hawaii, and then he's working on an education documentary. Hopefully that changes something. He's super passionate about it. Worked on it for like 7 to 10 years, I think, from what I get. I'm not positive. But he stepped away from that to do that, and now I think he's finished. And he was touring the country on a bus, having people write how much in debt they are and like
that's
why and
dope.
stuff. It's so cool. I actually DM'd,
Is there a picture of that? I kind of want to see it actually. The bus?
yeah, search the student debt destroyer possibly. You might get it on there. On Instagram. Or, yeah, student debt destroyer. RV.
Oh, it's a RV. Okay.
you
Oh, is
might
it
get
right
it.
here?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty sweet. The
Yes.
student debt destroyer. He traveled around the country with
Yeah,
that.
this was pre-COVID, and then COVID messed that up. But
Wow.
so this guy is great. Like, so he was on the podcast, and he's definitely like the voice of more like serious and like spiritual, and definitely a little bit more not their vibe. Jake Paul's a different story. That guy, I don't love that guy either.
You're not a fan of him?
Logan Paul's great. Provides value, but this guy, I DM'd him because I'm so passionate about the education system. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, let me come like for free. I'll do whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just some hustle shit. And he DM'd me back a couple times. Like, and I was like, I'm gonna start a podcast. I want you to be our first guest. He DM'd me back like 100%. And he's
Wow.
like, dude, we could maybe get that set up. Obviously, he's probably just being nice and replying to people randomly. Like, it might not be serious.
Uh-huh.
But like, he seriously DM'd me back, and I think that's like great. Like, I would love to shout this guy out. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
he wants to change the education system, and that's some crap that nobody will touch. Like,
Does he have a bad story from going to college, or what kind of led to him?
I don't know. Hopefully, that'll be in the
He
documentary.
could probably just realize how worthless the education system is right now.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say worthless. I think in
think a
need
lot
of
of-
major change, you know, because
Yeah.
there's definitely worth. People go and become doctors.
Yeah, and like
lawyers
that's where we need the education like that. But
Yeah.
then that's where you look at it like, hey, maybe you cut off. Maybe high school only goes till 10th grade, and then you start there.
That's
right?
interesting. I see. I don't know enough about like the brain and like because obviously people way smarter than us know what you should be
more, yeah.
doing at what age and all. But at the same time, people also have different views.
There's majors and there's occupations that need college, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not disregarding that. Like, doctors, 100%. Anything to do with that or like super high engineering, stuff like that,
Yep.
yes. There's degrees that do not need to be out there, and we need to stop pushing them onto kids that don't understand that.
Yep.
That's-
Well, and that's a
that's
huge
the
part of
issue.
culture. Like you're told in high school, if you don't go to college, you're going to be a failure.
Yeah.
And
I wish I wouldn't have went.
I dropped out, and I'm happier. The best decision I ever made is I said I dropped out of college. That's
too
what I
deep.
tell people.
Maybe I'll just drop out 3 weeks before graduation.
Yeah.
I know people that have done it. I know
That's
people that have
crazy.
done it.
No, that's a YouTube title right there.
What do you think is the proper thing that someone who's graduating from high school, they're thinking, I don't know if I want to go to college right now. I don't know if it's the right path. What's the thing to tell
I mean,
them?
that's a hard question to answer. It's a great question, but it's a hard question to answer because it goes right back to you don't give everybody the same pill, so you can't give everybody the same answer.
True.
But you can kind of cater that to like, I think a lot of people go to college, don't go to college, go into the trades. Any decision they make is basically based on who's around them and what they want them to do.
True.
Instead of what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, if your parents want you to go to a 4-year that's highly known and highly priced, but you don't want to,
Yep.
you're going to probably do that. Like, if your parents say college isn't worth it, you're probably not going to college. I think that people just need to be educated more on the decision they're making and not just thrown into it. Like, there's no guidance given, really. Like, there's no in-depth guidance. Like, there should maybe be like a 6-month class that they take junior year in high school before they have to decide
Yeah.
that lays out everything that, you know what I mean? Like, average salaries, what you can do, how to take your next step, like how to not end up if you don't go to college, end up a bum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can, like, you might not be able to get a job if you have nothing on your resume.
Yep.
But that's also about the way you conduct yourself. Like, if you just apply for 3 jobs on Indeed, like I know people that do
Yeah.
this, you just apply for 3 jobs on Indeed, have nothing on your resume, no college degree,
Yep.
and you miss a couple boxes, you're not getting hired.
No.
But then there's the hustle where you're going to go into 20 places, talk to the front desk and say, let me speak to somebody that'll give me a job.
Yep.
Hey, why should I give you a job? Let me start at an entry-level position. I want to work my way up. This company interests me. Like, hell, I'll even work for free here for a year. You know what I mean? Like,
There you go.
that's the shit that nobody teaches you. Like, you can
No.
do that.
No.
And that's like where I get into like just be comfortable like putting yourself out there. And that's a tough thing to ask people to do. But you're going to get a job if you go to 10 businesses and
Yeah.
be like, give me a job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to go. Like,
How do you
I'll
teach
strap up
people-
today and do a 12-hour shift.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't care what I'm doing, but I like your
Yeah.
company, right?
Yeah.
They'll see the motivation.
Yes.
They'll see the
And
hard work.
How do you
ethic.
teach that though? Because obviously you're a grinder, you
so
hustle.
tough.
How do you teach that?
Well, that's I think society. Like that's just the way society's moving. Is like, and that's where you get to the top-down leadership. And I'm not saying that's any bit of product of the president, but just of everybody above you at every level.
Yep.
Like, what are they teaching?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
What are you watching? What are you taking in? What are you reading?
What am I?
That's
like,
what Gary
what
Vee is always
content am I
talking
taking
about.
in?
Yeah. What do you
Gary
always?
Vee is 100% the man. Honestly, impulsive, man. I'm telling you, there's
Really?
some good stuff on that show.
Uh huh. I'm surprised you get so much knowledge from there.
Oh,
though.
dude, it's great. Like it's. You got to check it
I don't
out.
want to knock it. I just,
Yeah,
I'm-
I mean,
you know,
if you-
when you
if
say
you knock
Gary
it after you
Vaynerchuk, I 100% connect
Gary
with that.
Vee, impulsive, Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Any pages honestly on Instagram that are actually like beneficial, like post stuff about like taxes, about investment, about business, and it doesn't have to be business. If you don't go to school, you can do art.
Yeah.
Follow art pages, get
Yep.
some inspiration. See if you can connect with somebody that might get you to the next level.
Yep.
Like that's half the reason that I am anything of what I am today. Like the connections that I've made, like there's countless people that I met at school. There's countless people that I met through business that help you take that next step when you don't know where to take that next step. That's what I want my podcast to be named, Next Step.
I love
to
it.
help
I love
people
that.
get
Yeah.
that next step,
Yeah.
like in any way possible.
Yep.
And like that's the thing. Like, I just don't think people are taught the positive ways to like use social media, use a network, put yourself out there. Like in school, they make you go through a mock interview where you sit in a chair like this. You have a terrible resume, terrible resume.
Yeah.
You're like, what kind of pay do you want? $16 an hour. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm probably working for your company.
Yeah.
Like nobody
Yeah.
actually wants to answer
Yep.
that, you know?
Yep.
Like teach them to go into somewhere, be confident and say the things that they need to say to get hired.
Yep.
Because at this day and age, just having that crappy resume ain't getting you a job.
No.
You know, it's all about who you know. And you can say like, hey, I started out with nothing. My family was nothing. I don't know anybody in this town. So go out, start talking to people.
Yep.
Bar. I'm not proponent for drinking or a bar, but like there's
That's a good way to
there's
meet
positives
people.
to
Yeah.
a bar
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
if you just think positively and use them for positive gain, like don't go to a bar and black out 3 nights a week. Go to a bar at 7 o'clock and where you can actually talk to people and hear people. Hey, maybe somebody knows somebody that'll give you a job in something you're passionate about.
True.
Use social media. There should be a class on this. Like Gary Vee is great at this, and like even I'm bad. I'm starting to get better. Like you could get anything you want out of it if you just DM 1,000 people. Like just hustle. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yep.
people are like, oh, I'm gonna post this post. Oh shit, I only got 100 likes. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so discouraged.
Yep.
Maybe on that post, you send it to 1,000 people that have posted something with the hashtag you're using, right?
Ah.
Say, hey, check this out. I'd love like your opinion, feedback.
Yep.
That's just hustle and grind. Like you
I love
don't
that. I
need
love
skill.
that,
You
yeah.
do not need skill. And that's
Yep.
the thing about like Gary Vee says too, is like a company you want to work for, go to them in person. Say, let me talk to somebody who will give me a job for free. Hey, I'll work for free for 6 months. I guarantee that person will be like, hell yeah, I'll take you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what you can do. Like, you're motivated.
Yep.
3 months later, they're like, damn, this guy shows up to work on time every day. This guy's trying to learn. This guy's positive. This guy's not tearing people down. He's not toxic. I'm paying this guy. And then you're only up from there. And
Yep.
like, if you want a job, do that. Don't go to college. Like,
Yeah. I see you're all about the law of attraction. Like what you want, go get it.
Yeah.
And what you want to happen to you will happen to you. You just got to go out there and get it. If you think positively, positive things will come into your life.
Yes.
I think that's a huge proponent. They don't teach that in school.
No, they don't teach
talk
that at
about
all,
it.
man.
They don't talk about it.
So if I could just quick shout out another impulsive
Of course.
episode with Charlie. At Charlie Rocket. Good and bad things, obviously, just like about everybody. But I think he's like one of the most inspiring stories and about like talking shit into existence. Like you can do it. Just be positive. Like
Yeah.
it's honestly like a lot of my mindset. And it gets me in trouble sometimes with some people. Like, even my girlfriend, like I'm just always so much because I'm just let's go. You know what I mean? Like just so positive.
I love that,
always
though,
happy.
yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
that's like and like that's why I always have to look at it from like a different perspective. Like some people might not be as happy. Some people might not have like what you have. Like, and that's why you just got to be open to seeing everybody's opinion.
Yep.
Definitely a big proponent for positivity and speaking stuff into existence. Because if you're like, I meet you, right?
Yep.
If I'm come off as a dick, right? Like super arrogant,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
don't like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, are you gonna do something to help me in the future?
Probably not.
If I come off as positive, like same thing as you. If you coming off as
Yeah.
positive to me, you reach out like, let's say you don't have business in your videographer. You're like, hey, can I shoot a commercial for your business? Hell yeah, I'm gonna pay you to shoot a commercial because you're a friend.
Yep.
And vice versa. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like every relationship is reciprocated if you're positive and helpful to the other person.
100%.
And
yeah.
like that's
I
just
agree.
like people are like, oh, I'm better than that person. You're not better than anybody.
No.
Like you're a human. Like,
No. And that's what I saw when I met you and I saw the grind and the motivation. Like you got the wrong video audio board. Let's go get it right now. Let's go.
yeah,
you busy?
like,
Let's
I'll
go.
spend whatever that.
Colin,
let's do
yeah.
it.
I
appreciate all the help too. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just positive as hell.
I see the grind and the energy in people, and I saw it in you, and it's just one of those things where it's like connections and like building off of people and helping each other. And you get that, I get that, he gets that. Some people don't get that.
Yes.
How do you like? It's one of those things.
It's a unique thing to find these
It
days
is,
because
it's-
so many people are entrapped in their phones and just going home playing video games. Shout out to both of you for actually like doing shit on your own, like Ethan making videos every day, podcast every week. You're starting your own podcast here, like
Hopefully, this is discouraging.
Well, and-
man. This is legit.
Hey,
no, it's not. You got the businesses, you got the
Yeah.
entrepreneurial spirit. Talk
and we
about
still have to talk about
That's
that.
what we're talking about.
we got
Talk
a lot.
about
We
the
got
business, 'cause
entrepreneurial and travel left. For
travel,
sure.
yeah,
And then maybe even
yeah. Well, you talk about you have a couple things going.
more. Let's talk entrepreneurship first.
Yeah,
So that's a tough topic, 100%, because you can just label yourself as an entrepreneur and you're not actually an entrepreneur, which is somewhat even like me to an aspect, right? Because I have a job right now. I have I'm working for somebody else. So am
Yep.
I an entrepreneur? Like that's subject to personal opinion as well.
what's
but
the definition? Let's just look up the definition of
let's look it up.
entrepreneur. You
Let's
know,
look it up. Because there's a lot of fake people, 100%, and like even me to a point, it's like you gotta
Okay.
be transparent and like I have some businesses working and I have that mindset, but I also do work for somebody else.
so the definition is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so.
100%.
Pretty much,
We're there.
Yeah,
We're
it's,
there, but like it's
You're
up to
betting
you.
on yourself. You're
Yeah.
betting on yourself.
You're building it up.
So, yeah, I've always been entrepreneurial. In high school we flipped shoes like crazy when the market was hot for that. Like I played basketball, so we had a whole walk-in closet full of shoes. But it wasn't because like my parents just handed me everything. Like no disrespect to my parents helped me a lot. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
But like you look at it from like a mindset, and this is what I look at life. Like you don't have to be an entrepreneur to look at life like this, but with money. If I want a $200 pair of shoes, I need to find something to trade. Not trade in general, like trade an iPhone for shoes, but like trade off, right? So if I want that $200 pair of shoes, maybe I can buy 4 pairs of shoes, make whatever the math is on that, $45 a pair resell. That pays for my shoes. I now have a free pair of shoes, 200
True.
pair. Like
Yeah.
that's how I looked at it, right? Like if I was gonna buy shoes, I tried to find something that I could buy, resell, pay for that.
Yeah.
That's like how I am in literally everything, like down to the wire. Like if I'm gonna spend $1,000 on something, I'm gonna try to either make $1,000 on some like recently even like Instacart, like what I was telling you guys about.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, if I can do that, it's grocery delivery from my truck 2 nights a week, make an extra $200.
Yep.
I could pay my rent in a month for time I'm just gonna sit around and scroll on my iPhone anyways. Like,
exactly.
That's what people don't see.
Yeah.
Every little bit adds up, and I just look at life like that, and I think it would help a lot of people actually looking at what they're spending and what their inflow is instead of just thinking, hey, maybe I can afford that. Like, didn't I get a decent paycheck? Instead, if you're going to spend $200, try to find some creative way to make that money back or
Yeah.
trade it off, right?
Yep.
Before you buy it, you're already selling something or already made the money for that. Set it aside. Like,
Here's a question for you. Are entrepreneurs made or are they born? Because it was one of those things from when an early age, I've always wanted to sell stuff.
That's
We had
a-
lemonade stands all the
Yes,
time,
that's awesome.
going to garage sales, buying stuff,
Garage sales
selling
is
it
sick.
on
That's
eBay.
another- yeah.
Just always as kids, we always were selling, buying, selling, doing stuff. We just knew we had it. But then I know people that aren't interested in that.
I think that's
I think it goes both ways, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
nature versus nurture is like the topic at hand of what you're asking. I wrote a research paper on that in high school.
Oh.
But like that's where you're going into like what affects you more, like the way you're brought up or your DNA. So I think it's a little bit of both. Like if you have an entrepreneur in the house, like you're more likely to be an entrepreneur because you see your family doing that.
True.
You can come from not entrepreneurial spirit and be an entrepreneur because that's what you're interested in. I think that's 100% both ways.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
That's
know.
a good answer.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because
Yeah.
I'm sure there's both cases for both.
Yeah. I just picture someone like a Gary Vee
Oh God. Yeah.
or,
I mean, that's
someone
I feel
like a
like he
Jordan
is born that
Belfort,
way.
natural.
Yeah. Oh,
like
definitely. That
you know
guy
what I
was
mean?
born that way, but there's exceptions. You know, there's
Yeah.
exceptions. To
He's just a
everything.
hard worker in general.
That guy's nuts.
Yeah.
Next level. Right?
Very
some people
motivational.
just are born, and like you said, it's how you grow up too. But people are born and they just have that thing in them where it's like you can sell water to a well. You can do, you know what I mean? You can sell ice
There's
to an ice
natural
stream.
ability 100%,
Yeah.
just like in everything.
Yeah, it's tough though because some people don't have that motivation. They don't want the motivation. So then, how do they go into getting the grind? You know,
You gotta find your motivation. That's the thing. Like, what do you want in life? And like, hey, if you want to live in a box, and that's fine. If you like, let's say you want to live in a tiny 1-bedroom, right? No
Yeah.
family, and your only hobby is ice fishing.
Mm.
Move somewhere where you can ice fish almost all year around, right?
Yep.
Work enough to do that. Whatever makes you happy. You don't have to be a millionaire or have money to be successful. That's
True.
like
Some
a
people
little-
just don't want that.
that don't want what? Money? That's fine. That's
No,
what I'm that's
just-
what I'm
hey,
that's
Some
what
people don't want $1 million.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Some people are content with going to the bar every night, and that's how they spend
but
their paycheck.
if that's how you're happy, be happy. And
Yep.
like all
Right.
you need to do is make that amount of money
Yep.
to be happy. Like and that's where like I draw the line of find your motivation. If your motivation is for that, who are you? Who am I? Who are you to say you shouldn't do that?
Yep.
You make your own choices, but to get motivated is all on you. Like you can't ask somebody to do that for you. And comes back to a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like
Yeah.
one day I could be a bum, right? For a week I could be a bum. But then I changed my mindset and I'm like, I gotta just do something, right? Something positive. No
Yep.
matter how little, how not. It's tough because a lot of people don't have it. I don't think you can teach it, but I think you can guide people to it. Not by saying you need to become a millionaire or even make 6 figures a year. You just need to find your motivation
Yeah.
and do enough to be able to be happy and do that. Like
Yeah.
the ice fishing example, let's say it's opposite and you just want to paint all day, right?
Yep.
You don't need that much money to paint all day.
No. No.
So just do something,
Yeah.
make enough money, paint 8 hours a day while you're not at work, right?
Yep.
Like work a 2 to 10 and paint for 8 hours in the morning. Like,
Yep.
you don't have to be a millionaire to be successful. 6 figures if you're in a normal job to be successful. I think that's just all about finding your motivation and like people could be a lot more happy if they understood that, right? Like
Yeah.
it was kind of a tough thing for me too. Like this podcast that I want to start is more of like I got to stop thinking about being successful as money and do something that like clearly I like to do is just talk.
Yeah.
So like that's like I took a step back because I was starting to get unhappy, right? Like didn't know where to put my energy.
Yep.
Looked from the outside and said, what could I do not focusing on money that would make me happy? That.
Yeah.
It cost me money and it's not going to make me money probably, but it's going to make me happy.
But you never know.
Yeah,
While you're
that
being
too,
happy, you could
man,
make
that
money,
too, that
yeah.
too. But that's
Yeah.
why you need to look at like what makes you happy first, and then maybe make it into a
For
career.
sure,
Like
yeah.
Gary Vee says, like you can make $70,000 a year talking about Smurfs. You probably could just grind on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
By the time
Yep.
you might, but the counter argument for that is you got to pay the bills.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's where I come to. Hey, you got to find something you like enough to just pay the minimum. You don't have to have a 401k. You don't. Like you can do whatever the hell you want as long
Yeah.
as you're making it. But like you put yourself into the situation where let's say a 40-year-old with a wife and 2 kids. He's hardly making the bills. His wife wants a Maserati. His wife wants a bigger house. He's going to a job that he hates, right? Like working 50-hour weeks, just brutal.
Yep.
Hardly sees his kids, isn't happy. he put himself in that situation. I don't feel bad for people like that. Like,
Yeah.
you chose that route to
Yep.
go, so you're stuck in that.
Yep.
Where if you would just take a step back and say, that's not what I want, end that before that starts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of the times too, that's why divorce rate is so high. You get into a relationship just because it seems like the right thing to do
At the moment.
at the moment. Later down the road, your beliefs are so different, but you like each other so much, you're like, let's just keep this going. And it ends up in divorce. Where if you, like, me and my girlfriend want to move, we want to travel, we love traveling, we are both entrepreneurial spirited people. We get along so well, almost too well, that we fight because of it. But, like, I think it'll work long term because we have the same core beliefs, right? Like,
Yep.
she doesn't want a million, I mean, she might, but you never know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's say she doesn't want $1 million penthouse
Yeah.
in downtown New York. And then deep down, I'm saying I want that too. But I know that what would make me happy is making $40,000 a year in the middle of the Mountain West and hiking every day. Those are topics that, like, some guys, some girls will just, like, cling on to. And I think that's what makes people really unhappy. And that's, like, I've never even thought about it that way. This just came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But, like, it makes a lot of sense, right?
does,
like,
yeah.
If you're living your life for somebody else, you're not going to be happy. So, like, you got to find somebody that actually believes in, like, what you want to do. And you don't have to see eye to eye on everything. But, like, major life choice differences, like, let's say a girl wants a picket fence in a suburb house, but this guy's, like, a outdoorsman, could live in a tent 6 months, live in
Yeah.
an RV the next
Yeah.
6 months. Like, they're not going to work no matter how, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there's just so much difference that somebody will end up being depressed and unhappy.
Well, and bringing that up about being truly happy, we're living in a generation where, if not impossible, it's getting there because everything we see online is not real.
Yep.
Instagram is all about showing people how many likes you get and, like, the apps and the edits and everything. It's about becoming someone you're not. What is true happiness to all these younger kids that are growing up watching TikToks and millionaires, celebrities, Kim Kardashian? They think that's happiness.
I
They're
think
gonna.
they need to experience it, and
I was gonna
once
say-
they experience it, then they'll understand what
They're
it
in
is.
for a harsh
and maybe
reality.
that's not what they're watching on their screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you show that though to the younger generation coming up in a
They're gonna
time
figure
when-
it out the hard way.
Yeah, they are going to figure out it the hard way. I mean, no, we didn't want to talk about this 100%, but, like, I think that comes back to the topic of, like, me not drinking. I think that's because I've seen the side of me not drinking.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, I just don't see a benefit to it. Where I think if you took kids' phone, like, let's say there's a month, we dedicate a month to where people, like, work is on board with it, and this is just, like, obviously, like, utopian type of answer.
Yeah,
like,
I know where you're
probably
going with
wouldn't
it,
work.
yeah.
Probably wouldn't work in
Yeah.
the economy in today, but.
Yeah.
Let's say you take their, I mean, even as little as a week, right? And you just show these kids that they can go outside and do shit. Like,
Take their phones away.
Yeah.
Meet new people.
everybody. But, like, no. This is where, like,
Logan, no.
we got to do it.
TikTok dance.
Oh, God, man. I mean, TikTok can be positive. Everything can be positive.
Snapchat.
It's all the way you look at it.
No, I'm just picturing though a kid. You take a phone away from a kid.
Yeah, but let's say, like, you make it, like, and this is, Jesus, this is even a worse topic because the government controlling us, but let's say you make it mandatory 1 week a year where everybody doesn't have it. So then it's not like a rat race where, like, hey, you got your phone, I don't. You're
Yep.
posting content. You might get the up leg on me, and this is why I can't get rid of my phone. That's
Yep.
how they look at it, and that's, like, where I can relate it to the me drinking thing because, like, until I didn't, I couldn't see the other side, and I would be okay on the
Yeah.
other side, and
Yeah.
I might be more positive. And it's for some people, it's not for some people, but, like, that's where I can relate that to the same topic of, like, you can't make somebody make that decision
yeah.
because it's a really hard decision to make. But if you make it and you see the other side, you might like it. You might not. You go
Yeah.
back. Like Joe Rogan even does Sober October, and that
Yep.
guy drinks and smokes all the time. Other than that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he does it for
Yeah.
a month to see what difference is.
Yep.
Like, and that's where, like, even putting your phone down and not having it within reach of you when you get into your room at night or something. Like,
Yeah.
little steps like that might be able to help people see a little bit better. You know?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think it'd be damn near impossible, but it's fun to talk about stuff
dream.
like that, though. It is because technology's become such a part of our lives now where picturing without it is almost creepy. Like if we didn't have phones and laptops and
As I'm checking my
iWatches.
phone.
And yeah.
I got a funny story about that. My girlfriend, we went to Houston last year in October just for fun. I messaged you when we went to Houston. That's one time I snapped you.
Oh,
I
yep,
was like,
yep.
give me a place to go, man.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what there is.
And I've never been there.
Yeah, and we're big hikers, so like Houston's like, what the hell are we gonna do there? We basically
Yeah.
just went as like a fun trip because gave it to as a birthday present to my buddy for his 21st.
Oh, okay.
He had never like flown before, so I was like,
Yep.
I'm taking you. Like, you got to see the world. Like, and it was just like one of the cheaper flights, and I was like, oh, it's warm. That's
Yep.
what, basically the two things. So she left her phone at home. We were 20 minutes away from home, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, she's like, oh shit, I forgot my phone. She's insane. And I'm like, you want to turn around and go get it? No. Like, I don't know anybody that would do that at our age. Like, I wouldn't do that. You know?
no,
That's some
no.
crazy shit. She went to
Yeah.
Houston for 3 days without her phone. Like, just off the grid.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people see that, but that's just a crazy story I have. And like,
Uh-huh.
shout out her for being able to do that. I don't know many people that can do
Isn't that sad though? We're at the point where picturing us without our phones is creepy or
Yes.
like sketchy or
People will lose a limb for their phone.
I bet she had the time of her life though.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a positive thing, and that's where like we can maybe get a little bit into traveling. For me,
Yeah.
I love.
I gotta go pee really quick, so you guys talk about travel.
Okay, all right.
I've been holding it.
I gotta pee too in a bit here. Take a shift. So national parks is a big thing for me and my girlfriend, and my mom instilled that in me when I was young. She loves national parks, like loves to go all over, loves to hike, loves to get up at 6 a.m. She's hiking. You know what I mean? She's walking outside doing something. So I think that comes to like, it's honestly a positive for me when we go on trips. My girlfriend gets mad at me. She says I'm on my phone too much just in general. I really don't think I am, but maybe that's just like me not seeing it.
Just in the moment on your phone. Yeah.
But she's like, I was getting on me for that. So it's almost good, right? When we go on like a 2-week trip and we're doing like free dispersed camping. That's a topic we should get into for people that want to travel for cheap. But when we do that and I don't have service and I got T-Mobile, which is horrible. Don't get T-Mobile. You don't have service anywhere in America, basically. I got kicked off my dad's plan, had to switch and went the cheap route.
Straight Talk, I recommend.
Really?
Walmart. Yeah, that's what I got.
Really?
Got kicked off my parents' plan too.
Yeah, I had Verizon, man. That was a luxury.
It's expensive.
Yeah, but so when we're traveling, right, in remote areas and I don't have service, I'm much happier, honestly. And maybe that is to do with I'm in a different area and hiking, or maybe that is to do with I'm just not on my damn phone, you know?
And
Like,
people ask us all the time, why do you go to these abandoned places? Like, why do you want to go where nobody else is? I think that's the best part. I think that's the
reason
best
right
part
there, man.
for me. I'm experiencing something amazing that there used to be a lot of people at. A lot of people used to go there to experience something. Nobody's there anymore. It's quiet. It's amazing.
Take it
The
in.
architecture is amazing. Like, the experience is unbelievable. Like, there's this abandoned theme park in New Orleans. Here's a picture right here of us riding on the old
sick.
bumper carts.
Sweet.
And, like, think how many people used to go there to experience happiness and
Astroworld?
joy. No, well, I wish, dude.
Houston.
That'd be a dream. Too bad they tore it down.
Yeah,
But
I know.
yeah, that's in New Orleans.
That's
And
sweet.
just be there where so many people used to experience the joy there. Quiet as hell now.
So cool.
What are you talking about? Abandoned places?
We're talking about traveling in
Just
general.
fill you in
and
really
just-
quick. I was talking about how my girlfriend always gets on me for using my phone. I don't see it, but maybe I do use it too much.
Uh-huh.
And I'm way happier when we go on trips and I'm
Yep.
in remote areas and I don't have my phone. The most nerve wracking thing is though, I'm into stocks.
Ooh.
Good God, man.
You don't know how it's
that'll
done,
scare you. That'll scare you when you got a couple, you know.
What's it at right now? What's it
Yeah,
at?
you can't see it for 3 days. And You're
Yeah.
like, oh God, just missed like a couple $1,000s. That's not good. But we were talking about that, and then he was talking about going places, abandoned places that nobody is right now. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And, like that's part of it. That's where we come together a little bit. Like you might like urban areas and abandoned areas, but
You
nobody's
might like
there.
in the
and I'm-
nature in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere where nobody's at
Yeah,
either.
exactly. Same thing. And I think I would like both.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to get into that. We got to go on a trip sometime.
Oh,
It'd be sweet.
100%. How did you get
What are you
into
doing later tonight?
Yeah. How did you get into
I got a job, man. I got to get away from that.
How did you get into going to these places?
So I told him a little bit. My mom is a massive proponent of national parks. So
Okay.
my mom and my dad are split now, but we're together through high school, and they both like to travel. They both help me travel, and obviously covered the expenses when I was little. But I saw so many things growing up that I like realized like, hey, there's more to life than Southern Minnesota.
Yeah.
And like that's that's just like a thing I like to do, right? When I was growing up, I actually BMX'd for 10 years.
Really?
Yes. Very seriously into that, traveling all the time, different states, road trips with
That's
teams.
dope.
Super fun, like great sport. If you're looking for a sport to get into and you don't like team sports, BMX it's so great. But I traveled a lot for that. Traveled a lot as a family growing up. Cruises, hiking, anywhere. Even went to Canada on a fishing trip with my dad and my grandpa. That was sweet. Just kind of instilled in me, I guess. Like, that's how I kind of started. Like, my
Yeah.
family traveled, so
Yeah.
I like traveling. And then, like, it's freeing when you get old enough to travel by yourself. You can make your own decisions where you want to go.
Yep.
Hey, we're not going to the theme park. We're going, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
that's what they think kids want to do, and that's what kids want to do. And that's one thing I wish I would have appreciated more when I was little, traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes I hated it, you know, like, oh, damn it, why do we got to go to this
Yeah.
national park and hike? You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
I just want to be at the pool. Like, the amount of cool places I went growing up that I didn't appreciate definitely changed my view on it now.
Yep.
But now I just love traveling because it's so different, right? Like he said, nobody's there. And, like, everybody's doing the same thing here. Like, and not to knock the people that go to the bar 3 times a week, but a lot of those people are the people that are like, oh, God, like, how do you go on these trips? And it's like, hey, man, like, you can go to the bar 2 times a month instead of 3 times a week. Save that money.
Yep.
Put it aside. Look 3 months later, hey, you got $2,000 almost. Damn, man. Like,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
If you're spending that kind of money downtown, gee.
Yeah, but seriously,
Some
that
people
adds up,
are,
though.
some
Sorry,
people
like,
are.
I don't know. Yeah, some people are.
Yep.
Yeah, but it adds up. I mean, you can do, like I told him, we do dispersed camping now a little bit, and appreciate my girlfriend for pushing me to do that a little bit more.
Dispersed camping?
Yeah, dude. It's like you can go on a website. I forget what it's called. You just Google dispersed camping. There's so many places in America that you can just pull your car over and sleep there for free legally, like public
for
land,
sure.
or pitch a tent in the coolest places for free, right? 'Cause-
Really?
So this is what happened. We went on a 2-week road trip, and we wanted to hit like the whole West Coast essentially and hit as many national parks as possible this summer, at the end of the summer. We had so much trouble, and normally we stay in hotels or Airbnbs. That's what we used to do. But she's like, hey, let's be a little bit smarter with our money. Let's save some money. And it's
Yeah.
even cooler, honestly, in some aspects.
Yep.
She's like, let's see if we can camp almost the whole time, right?
Mm.
So originally we were trying to do national parks, like in national parks, and that cost money. And it's ridiculous. I didn't expect it. They're booked out like 3 months in advance. We show
Really?
up and we're like,
Wow.
oh shit, we got nowhere to camp. Some are like, oh, we got nowhere booked. We have no service. We're screwed.
Wow.
So
How do you rent out a room in a national
Dude,
park?
it's crazy, man. Like, they're booked out like 3 months in advance. I never thought it'd happen, especially like I was like, this is ridiculous.
That whole mountain's full. That whole mountain's full. That old patch.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And like, see, that's where dispersed camping comes in. It's just not marked campsites, but it's
Okay.
legal ground in the national parks and outside in state parks and national forests, essentially.
Yep.
10 minutes from Crater Lake in Oregon, there's like a national forest that we camped in for 3 days for free.
Wow.
And they don't have like fire pits and marked sites, but
Yeah.
people do it. So there's like little, areas that you can do it in.
Yeah.
And it's a little sketchy. I mean, when you're on your own and you're not carrying anything or
Yeah.
maybe just a knife, which it's
Yeah.
a little sketchy when you're like no service, 10
Yep.
miles into the woods, and there's like sketchy car guy just camping by himself over there.
Yep.
Like that's the only part. And that's why we're thinking about getting a camper van, because that'd be a lot more secure if you're just pulling it
True.
into somewhere like that. But if you're looking to travel and you don't have money, you can travel so cheap if you're smart.
Yeah.
Stop going to Mexico and paying $4,000 for an all-inclusive resort to sit and drink
Yep.
on your butt, which is
Yep.
what you do in Minnesota.
Yep.
Go push yourself. Hey, maybe have a few at the campsite when you get back.
Yeah.
Like, go for that.
Yeah.
But you got to get out and do something different, man.
Yep.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, everybody thinks vacation's so expensive because they want to fly Delta. They want to, like, I love it when people knock me for flying Spirit, right?
Oh, geez. How many times have we
my
flown
God.
Spirit?
So many times,
It's
dude.
like, if you have
Yeah.
the audacity to be like, oh, why are you flying Spirit? You're so broke or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you don't go on trips ever. Spirit is the same damn airline. Honestly, almost better. You can always get upgraded to emergency exit row if you just go talk to the people.
True.
I got more legroom than any Delta flight I've ever been on. for
True.
Probably a half the price, if not less.
What am I supposed to do? Look
Yeah,
at this back of
oh
my
my
screen?
God,
I need the monitor to watch movies.
Dude, you got a phone.
Hey, the
Download
monitor,
it.
the
Oh,
monitor.
That's the worst thing. I'm like, wow, you got a screen?
I want
Oh,
pretzels.
Shit. Oh my
I
god.
want free food.
Pack some pretzels.
Yeah.
Download a movie on your
Yeah,
phone. Man.
exactly.
That's the thing.
I love you saying that though, because people
Oh,
always say, "How do you guys travel all the time? What are you rich?" It's like,
No.
you just don't know how to travel. You just don't know how to travel, really.
Or hey, I mean, sometimes you got to step outside of your comfort zone. A lot of people are like, "You're sleeping in your car." Sometimes
Hey,
you have to.
You got to do it.
I've done it
sometimes.
multiple times.
Get the
Love
Priceline
that.
app.
Or
get
get
the
the
Get
Priceline
every app. Get
Yeah,
every app
yeah.
that'll help you. Skip lag. Do
We
you know
get
that?
15. No, I've never heard of Skip lag.
Skip lag. You got to
Skip
get
lag.
it. Everybody that wants to fly for fucking cheap, skip lag.
Skip lag.
Yeah, it's essentially like
Oh, you're talking about flying.
yes.
We
Okay.
don't
anybody-
fly a lot.
Oh, okay,
we
but
road
anybody that
trip.
wants to fly for free, I like road trip way better, especially at this age when
Yep.
rent a car is so expensive.
Yep.
All in for road trips. Road trips 10 times better. But if you are somebody who wants to fly to
Yep.
a city, anywhere, skip lag, great. Like it's some scam basically in the system where like let's say
I'm gonna look it up here,
let's
'cause-
say you have a flight from Minneapolis to Detroit and then it connects from Detroit to Tampa. If I search that flight from Minneapolis to Detroit, it won't show up because it's connecting to Tampa. So skip lag, do you get the name? Like you're skipping the second flight and they'll give it to you for way cheaper to get to the first half of your destination.
Wow. Minneapolis to Orlando, 29
There it is.
bucks.
Don't go to the
That's-
bar one weekend. You have a round trip flight to Vegas, which is you're probably going to go to the bar there, but
Hey,
Look at
that's
these
like one
prices,
round
though.
of shots.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like people need to just open up their eyes. Like I
Wow.
fly on that all the time, man.
This is great.
It's great.
That's
If
awesome.
you want to fly cheap, get on that.
Skip lag. It's
Skip
like an
lag.
advertisement there. Do we get
Yeah,
paid for
dude,
that?
We should. That is.
That's like a beautiful advertisement for 'em.
They probably don't even have any sponsors on podcasts, and
There we go.
we gotta hit them up.
Skip lag, get on us here.
Somebody email 'em. No, but like if you want to fly for cheap, there it is. You might have to fly Spirit. Suck it up. You're gonna be on the airplane for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Would I fly Spirit internationally? Probably not. That's a different budget. But
Yep.
you should also have the budget if you're gonna travel internationally. But
Exactly.
if you don't want to fly and you want a road trip, take somebody's car who gets good gas mileage. My girlfriend's gets like 50 miles. Takes nothing for gas to go all
What
around.
does she
the
have,
damn-
Prius?
No, she got like a Hyundai Elantra. It's sick. We were
Really?
getting like 55 when we were in like Utah and stuff.
Yeah, we have both have Ford Fusion hybrids. We're getting like 35,
Oh, it's
40.
great.
Oh,
They're
I
so
used to.
cheap.
I don't have one.
Yeah. yeah.
So great. But
Yeah.
so let's say you want to do a road trip. There you go. That's cheap. Bring 4 people. You
Yep.
split the cost in 4. You're probably paying $50 for gas max if you go like all the way around the United States. Then, if you really want to do it for cheap, do dispersed camping. Get a tent for $50 at Walmart. You don't ever have to pay to stay anywhere, and you can stay almost anywhere in the world. Honestly.
Wow.
So there you go. The 2 biggest expenses for nearly nothing.
Yep.
And then maybe try not going to.
Fancy restaurant.
Yes, and wait. If you want to travel for free, don't go to the restaurant. Don't buy the alcohol at the restaurant. Don't buy the $12 margarita. That triples your tab after you have 3,
What?
right? Like, oh my God. Have that when you're at Rounders in town, man.
Yep.
Like, if you're really on a budget, right? And you
Yep.
say you can't travel because you don't have money, cut out the things that don't need to happen. Or bring a case if you want alcohol.
True.
Or same thing with food. It's like, don't go spend money at the restaurant unless it like needs to be done. Like we set a goal. We used to go out to eat like 3 or 4 times every time we go on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we set a goal 1 time a day,
Really?
which was a big step for us, and that still we could do better than that. But we
Mm-hmm.
almost hit that. We sometimes like you hike. We do insane hikes. Like we hike for 12 miles, right? It takes us almost all day, and then you're like,
Wow.
son of a bitch, I don't want the same sandwich again.
yeah.
But you can do it. Like
Yeah.
that's my point.
Yeah.
Like pack a big cooler, put it in the trunk. Hey, now you have your entire trip for less than $200, probably all said and done for 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
seriously, there's ways to do it. And
Yep. I
that's what
love
people-
that. That's
people-
awesome.
That's what people don't get, man, and that's what people need to start doing. It's peaceful.
Good luck convincing people, though.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
everyone wants to
right?
be comfortable. No one wants to get out of their comfort zone. No one wants to.
We've done some pretty crazy, like 5, 6, 7 day long trips for like
cheap.
$200-$300.
So, yes.
It gone like all over the East Coast.
New
and
York,
shit.
New Orleans, down to Alabama, North
Atlanta,
Carolina.
all over.
Yeah.
My car's been to like 30 some states. Well, my old car, I don't have it.
Ah, God,
Took a dump on them now.
Yeah.
that'll happen.
Talk about the business, though, because we haven't got there.
Okay,
you,
well,
we're
wait.
talking about entrepreneurship.
Yep. Can I add just a point to
Of course,
the
you can add anything.
Do you have credit cards?
I just got one.
Just got one.
Yep.
I have a debit card.
I'm trying to build.
Boys, you got to get a credit card.
I have one.
I don't have one.
You got to get a credit card.
What's
What
the?
kind?
What does the credit card do? I'm curious to hear.
So, essentially, if you know how to do it, it's the greatest thing ever. Like, a lot of people are so scared of it, And I'm scared of loans. I'll just put that out there. I won't take out a loan. I won't buy a car if I can't buy it all in cash.
Yeah.
Like I bought a snowmobile, won't buy that unless I can buy it all in cash. Don't
Yep.
like loans. And there's definitely good things to loans. Just you need to be educated on it. But
Yeah.
credit cards. The first time I had one, like shout out my mom and my dad for this. Had one when I like turned 18 right away, a student one for free basically.
Yeah.
Put like gas on it one time a month to start building credit. Paid it off right away. $25 a month. Builds the same credit.
Yep.
Second one I got right when I got to school here was like a Chase Freedom maybe or something. I don't know. It's like 2.5% cash back or something like that. And it adds up over time. Like you're cutting costs there. Every penny counts. And I got like $500 if I spent $1,000 in the first 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yes. So let me get to what I just got. But there's ways that'll say, and especially if you're tight on money, right? Like, hey, you only got $1,000 in your account. $500 is a lot of money. Like, you're going to spend $1,000 on rent in 3 months. And if you put everything on that card, you're getting 2.5% cash back and you're getting $500 of your $1,000 back. It's ridiculous. People need to understand that.
Yeah.
Don't go, like, there's bad people that max them out and pay the minimum. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
But you can get one even if you don't have money. You can get one, put $25 on it a month. And that's where we get into the credit card. There's like 5 or 6 factors that make up your credit score. People think that you need to use money on it to build credit. You actually want to do the opposite. Credit utilization is one of the biggest impacts of your score. And let's say like right now I have a $9,000 line of credit on my highest credit card. If I use $8,000 of that, my credit score is going to drop like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
I might use $8,000 of it in a month. Probably not. I don't spend that much. But
Yeah.
Let's say I do. If I pay it off before the date that it posts, like let's say my bill is due December 15th, which it is. If I pay that off, right? Like anytime I use my card, if I use it at Ford dealership today for $300,
Yep.
I'm going to go to my app, my Chase app, Face ID, super easy. I'm going to click pay card. Gone. Right
Pay
out of
right away.
right out of my
Yeah.
checking or my savings, whichever I decide.
Yep.
If you bring your utilization to 10% or less, your credit score is going to go up exponentially. Also, another one that the only thing that I wish I would have done is my age of accounts is bad. It's only like 2.7 years on average.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get enough cards when I was young enough. And you obviously, like, I'm not proponent of everybody get 6 credit cards right away. But
Yeah.
you got to just know, like, a lot of people, I didn't know either until I got, like, Credit Karma or NerdWallet. Like, these things help so much. And they
Yep.
recommend the best card for you
Yep.
due to what you put in. And another one is age of accounts, right? So you're 23, correct?
21.
I'm
21.
I'm
Shit,
23.
my bad.
He's
My bad, I
21.
got mixed
Yeah.
up. But even you, 21, you're already like 3 years behind if you want a good credit score. And there's advantages. You don't need a good credit score. Not saying that's the end goal, but I'll get to what card I just got and the benefits I'm going to get because of it. You need
salesman.
Yeah,
I've
you-
never I've never heard anyone tell this many good things about credit cards.
Are you kidding me?
You're like the
Oh
you're
my
like the
God, bro.
you're like the alternative of Dave Ramsey. You're like
Oh, dude,
you're like
just
the
wait.
evil Dave
Let me
Ramsey.
get to it. It's insane
No,
though,
I'm
what
excited.
you can
I'm
do.
excited. Yeah.
So you need to get one. I don't care what it is. Get one with no annual fee and no minimum payment.
You coming over tomorrow to help me get
Yeah,
one?
I'll get you. Here's the thing, dude. I can give you a referral fee on Chase right now. You
Oh.
can get this card. You can get $200 if you spend $500 in the first month, and I get $100 for referring you.
Oh,
He might have to get a secure card first because he doesn't have a credit score, and usually you have to get a secure card if you.
I
don't
have no credit score, no debt.
That's the thing, though. It's tough to get it.
You might get approved for that though. It's like the entry level Chase card.
Oh,
you
really?
might be okay. Like
okay.
I know a guy that I just told to get one. Same situation. He didn't. He's like, he's good with money too. Great with money.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I didn't touch that. And I showed him what it can do, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get one. Got the referral link. He gets money too. Like every
That's
penny
awesome.
counts, and
Yeah.
I have money. And this is what people don't get. Like $50 is a lot even to me. $10 is a lot even to me. You got to be smart. So
Well,
just
it's free money.
we'll talk about this after this, and we might get this set up. But I just recently,
I love it.
I just recently realized I wasn't taking full advantage of my credit score. It's like 760, and
Oh,
like
that's
the
pretty
top
damn
is
good.
850. So I'm in
Yeah.
the top bracket. I think the top bracket is like 750 to 850.
Excellent would be
The only thing that's bad is the age of accounts because I should have opened more sooner. But this Chase card I got, I don't have my wallet on me. I think it's in my truck. The Chase card I got is like
What's
the
it called? We can look it up.
Sapphire Preserve, probably, or Sapphire Reserve. It's one of the two. I think there's both. But I just saw this offer come across
Reserve.
my Chase app. Right. Look at the top. No, all right, yeah. It's metal too. It's great.
This
That's
one?
That's the coolest thing about it. It's metal. I've always wanted metal. But yeah. Okay, so go back actually
back
to
to, like, the out
to
of
the
images?
words, to the words. See, wait. 50,000 bonus points. You see that?
Yep.
So I applied, and it was at 80,000 when I got it. Thank God.
Wow.
Ooh, earn up to 1,000 bonus miles, dude. I'm gonna get that card
It
tonight.
says that's 750 in travel rewards.
Yes, this is
Wow.
what I'm about to tell you. That's gonna blow your mind. I need to get that 100,000 bonus points. I couldn't find that offer. It might be because you don't have one, because they track how much you search. It's just like
It's Capital.
Expedia and stuff.
I have a Capital One right now.
Dude, I need to get that. But
What do you think about Capital One?
I had to think about great things about all of them if you use them right.
How many credit cards do you have? Just
I
quick.
only have 3, which is my problem. I should have about 6 probably by now.
Really? You
Yes.
want to get more?
Yeah, 100%. Because you need to take advantage. Like this. What
How
I'm,
much are
sorry,
you trying to spend on
just
each
wait,
one per month?
Just wait. What I'm trying to get. You don't have to though. You can let them lay dormant as long as
It's-
you make sure they're no
yeah.
minimum payment ones.
Yep.
And if it is, put gas on it one time a month. You're probably there.
Yep.
Put groceries on it one time a
You're
month.
only a proponent of credit cards though if you pay them off.
Yes,
right
don't
away.
ever use them as leverage.
I don't want anyone to get a
No,
wrong
sorry,
idea.
yeah. Let me get to this. So bonus miles right there. The top one says 50,000 right now. It was 80,000 about 2 weeks ago. The offer just ended. I applied for it. I was already a Chase customer. I have a great credit score. Got it instantly. Sent me it in 3 days. If I spend $4,000 in the first 3 months, which some people can't meet that minimum, but there's
Yeah.
lower minimums. So there's $1,000 cash spend for 500 or 200 back if you find that offer. There's
Yeah.
a lot of offers
Yep.
out there. But 4,000 in the first 3 months, I get 80,000 bonus points. So let me get into this. $4,000 in 3 months isn't terribly hard for me, honestly, because rent, easy thing to do, right?
Yep.
I just put my whole roommate's rent on it, had them Venmo me. There's
Oh.
$1,500 in 1 month. I'm at 3,000 in 2 months, and I'm breaking the 4,000 if I buy groceries on it and put everything I have on it in 3 months, right?
Yep.
Or you ask your parents, like, my mom even will help me. Like, I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you have any big expenses coming up that I can pay off for you and you just Venmo me for? Because I need to make this minimum spend. She taught me about this a lot. She does this shit all the time. It's
Really?
great.
That's
She's
awesome.
great with her money.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, I got car insurance coming up. Like $1,200 is like whatever, our 6 month or our year, whatever. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, just throw that on there. I'll Venmo you $1,200 and we're even. So I'm at the spend already.
Yep.
I'm about to get 80,000 bonus points, which amounts to like, I can book like 4 different flights for that, if not
Really?
more. And if you're
Wow.
smart with it and you wait or you roll them over into a different account, you can book even more. Like, I could bring it up right now, but just for spending the money I'm going to spend,
That's awesome.
and it's worth $800 cash if I don't use it as travel credit. It's worth like
Really?
a $1,200 if it's travel credit.
So they'll give you straight up cash?
Yes, bro. Straight to your checking
I
account.
love this travel hacking. Isn't that what it's called?
Yes,
Travel
basically.
hacking?
I mean, it's called like card something. If you, it doesn't have to be for travel. It can
When
be
did you
for-
really start getting into all this like credit card research, or straight off
honestly,
the bat did your parents?
2
Probably
weeks-
wishes you would have done it earlier.
Oh, 100% is what I'm trying to tell people. bro.
Yeah, yeah.
2 weeks ago was when I applied for this new one, and that was when I was like really like, oh shit, man. Like, I'm missing out. Like, I could pay for my whole next trip for me and my girlfriend on this. Like, just for spending the money that I'm gonna spend anyways.
Yep.
If you're smart with it. So my mom definitely introduced me to that. She's good with her money, good with credit cards. She does that all the time. She'll be
Yep.
like, hey, put this on there. Like, let me put your tuition on my card so I get the points for that. So she'd say, and then I pay her for that or whatever, vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yep.
To meet the minimum spend. She's making more, like, could make more than me. Her minimum,
Wow.
because she had credit her whole life. There was like 100,000. I can't believe that earned up to 100,000. Because I was watching a YouTube video that said that offer was away right now. So I'm going to have to take a look
There
at
you
that.
go. We got
But
a new offer, 100,000.
check that out if you have a decent credit score. Because you probably got to have like 770 to get that at least.
I
But-
love though that the first thing you said was debt free. You're gonna only buy a car if you have the
Yeah,
cash. Like
yep.
people don't. That's not something that's very
people
common.
outreach so much for that shit.
If you have to have the money to do
And
this
then there
stuff.
is smart ways to use debt. There's smart ways to leverage debt, and that's a little bit over my head. But there's obviously, if like a interest rate is lower than what you're getting on an investment, you get sketchy there. But
Yeah.
you could leverage it right if you're smart. You can do anything like that. But the whole wrap this up, and we can move to entrepreneurship a little bit more in my business, is there's ways around it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
rich, and everybody like. When you go on trips, they're like, oh my God. And it's like,
Yep.
dude, it's just smart ways. Like, you don't need to be buying that $4,000 all-inclusive to Cancun to do the same thing 3 years in a row. Like, you can do a road trip around
Yeah.
the whole United States for $500 if you're smart. Like,
Yep. Oh,
And
100%.
that's like the 80,000 bonus points. Great. I need to start looking more into credit cards. I just started like really getting in depth with it. But it started when I got my first Chase card freshman year, and my mom was like, you got to get this because you're going to get 200,
Yeah.
400 free bucks.
Yep.
And then Chase also has a deal. Check out Chase if you don't bank with Chase. It should be a Chase. We should be sponsored by Chase.
I was gonna say, what's going on around
And
here?
Twisted Tea. While
Twisted
we're at
Tea,
it.
here we
Give me
go.
a-
Bang, please
Bang.
I drink a lot of these and water.
Jesus.
But what I'm trying to get to with that is Chase too. Open a checking account with them, and if you get direct deposit, I don't know what the exact offer is right now. You probably look it up. But if you put a direct deposit into Chase 2 times in a checking account, no minimum check. I mean, it might be a teeny minimum. I don't know, but like almost a no minimum checking account and no fee checking account you can open for free. You put a direct deposit into that, you get like $300.
Really?
After 2 weeks, and it's like,
I'm glad you brought this stuff up.
oh my god, for people that are living paycheck to paycheck, like
Yeah.
there's ways around it, man.
Yeah.
Just be smart with your money.
Yep.
I don't know. That's my. If I can bring anything,
I love
there
that
it is.
because
Like,
I have a credit card, but I don't utilize
use it.
any of that.
Gotta use it,
special
especially if you have
stuff.
money.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yep.
And
That's awesome. I
People
love
get
that.
worried about it too. Like, hey, what if I forget? You got to understand. You got the iPhone right here. Chase,
Put a reminder.
Chase, yeah, reminders are great too.
Yeah.
But Chase, I'm just right in, and it's as easy as tapping 2 buttons.
Yep.
It's not confusing.
Yep.
It's confusing when you needed to go to 6 different banks to pay off your bills or send them in by
Yeah,
check, and you
yeah.
might forget to send a check. But
Yep.
it's right there on your
Modern
phone.
days,
man.
easy, boom, bang.
Or set auto payment straight, and you don't have to forget.
you go.
But then your credit score will be lower because it'll close on your balance.
Oh.
So that's for lazy people, but
Gotcha. So don't do auto payments.
don't do auto payments.
Unbelievable. We're learning a lot.
All right,
today,
we
Colin.
got to hear about this business because we've been.
That's like the hot topic, the
I
business.
think I stopped. I tried to stop the politic talk at 47 minutes. We're at an hour and 54 now.
This is the hey, hold on.
Hey, so-
this is the longest podcast we've done. Hey, because now we've
I thought we did one longer with Adrian.
Well, we'll keep
nope.
going.
The longest podcast we ever did was an hour and 47, if I remember correct.
Here's why I want to go forever, because I love talking.
Yep.
I love talking to you guys. I love talking to like-minded people.
Yep.
And every time I listen to a podcast, I'm like, damn it, why wasn't that longer? If I like it.
Yeah,
Maybe you don't like
exactly.
this.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
you don't like this
yeah.
podcast. You don't like me.
Well, it always
That's fine.
appeals to certain
But
people.
some people, if it appeals to 5 people that wanted to hear longer,
Yep.
This might appeal to everybody because we've talked
covered
about
everything.
Every
God,
topic.
I love this.
The
This
business,
is
though. The
great.
business.
Okay. Lakeshore
Logan is a
Potential.
business owner. Let's get the website up here. Oh God. Do you have a website?
Yeah, put it in. Lakeshore Potential. Hopefully we'll be top of...
Is it chase.com?
You're
or
doing
is
that
one of
search
your
engine
other websites?
optimization.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be top here. Search Lakeshore Potential. See what we get. Yes.
Oh,
Look
he's
at
number
that.
one.
Let's go.
All right, so this is I was trying to explain this to my friend the other night. You
Okay.
are doing weed removal.
Lake weed removal. Our website needs to be updated. I'm trying to learn. It's as good as it's gonna get right now, but we'll get to it. We do lake weed removal, and I have to credit my dad. I hope my dad watches this, honestly, all the way through. It's a tough situation, and I'll kind of talk on that too. My dad started this when I was as young as I can remember. I was helping him. We lived on a lake. We did our own weed removal. Some neighbors wanted it. We started to do it for them. My dad had a dream to get it off the ground and basically make it his full-time job. It didn't 100% work out. Great guy. I credit 100% of where I'm at today, entrepreneurial-wise, at him.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't get enough credit and enough thanks for me for that. But essentially, he started this when I was young, and I started it with him. We were doing it kind of as a side gig, right? Like, he still had a full-time job. I was working in the summer, but we do it after work,
Yeah.
And it started to grow a little bit, but it kind of puttered out because when we have like a really wet season, there's not as many lake weeds, and the water's so high that you don't see them, and it's hard for us to even get in there when it's like that.
Yep.
So we had like 2 seasons of that in a row, and it kind of died a little bit. So he kind of took a step back after trying to full send it a little bit, and I kind of got in the way of that, I guess, a little bit because I wanted to take it over bad. So this was like a little tough conversation with us, like if I was going to continue with it or if he was, or if we were going to split off, or like, because it's tough to run a business when you have 2 different opinions, no matter who's right, who's wrong.
Yep.
It's hard when you have 2 50-50 equal says. And I had some ideas he didn't like, he had some ideas I didn't like, but like he decided to give it to me 2 years ago, basically. Love him for that. Can't thank him enough for that. I want to stress this enough if he watches, because it was like a tough thing for me, right? To like kind of take that dream away from him, not essentially, but like I felt like I could make his dream go farther forward. So I wanted to help and wanted to take over, but I only wanted that if I could make the decisions. It's a tough situation. But essentially we do lake weed removal. 2 years ago, he let me take it over a little bit, basically fully. And I ended up partnering because I didn't have a truck 2 years ago. So this was a big issue. He just got rid of his truck too, his lease just ended.
Oh, gotcha.
So somebody had to decide what was going to happen. So I actually partnered with a kid, Jade Reichs from St. Peter. I should talk a little bit more about him as well. He's a great guy. Maybe have him on, honestly. He runs track at the U.
Hell yeah.
We're technically like 50-50 in this. We do a little bit of landscaping, but we focus on lake weed removal, right? So we took it over 2 years ago, partnered. He had a truck. He had the space because my mom moved to the cities when my parents split. My dad lives here, but we don't have as much space in his house anymore because he lives in town. And we keep all of our stuff at Jade's house, and he has a truck. So to start, 2 years ago, I decided to quit my job and just full send it in the summer. The first week was brutal. Did one job.
First week was brutal. Usually it's the first year.
Yeah, right. Super lucky. First week was brutal. Didn't make any money. Maybe did one job. Kind of got discouraged. But we were knocking on doors, man. We were knocking on doors. We had all of our friends. Shout out all of our friends that helped us. Like, shared our stuff. Like, Mitch Muller for sure, knocking on doors for us. Like, I'm sure I'm forgetting people, but everybody was knocking on doors for us, right? Like, all the boys came together. I appreciate it so much. Like, we wouldn't be anywhere we are today without that, without a lot of mentorship, and I'll get into that later too. But we were struggling, right? And it was a little bit discouraging. I was making decent money before this, wasn't making enough money. Girlfriend was on me a little bit, not because she says I need to make money, but she's great because she pushes me, and that's half the reason I'm where I am too, because she pushed me to not be normal.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to take off. We did pretty good. 2 years back now was our first year. We had basically one crew. So me, Jade, his brother, and then we had some friends help out when we needed them. And then this year, our last school year, so like after our first season, I entered Big Ideas Challenge at MSU, student entrepreneur competition, just like Shark Tank. And we ended up winning that, which was super cool because it gave us some prize money that we were able to roll into basically my truck so we could have two crews and a trailer and some more equipment. So double our revenue.
Yeah.
And we were a little worried this year with COVID, right? Because we couldn't door knock. And that's where we get in all of our business last year, like word of mouth. People aren't going to have like lake gatherings. People aren't going to see each other and be like, hey, that guy cleaned my lake weeds. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A little worried. What happened actually was we were damn near overbooked with spending $0 on marketing, which is a great sign.
Wow.
And just basically trying to progress from there. And this year was great. COVID actually turned out to be a good thing in our business because a lot of people were home and using the lakes and wanted it more clean.
Yep.
It's an interesting business because it's hard to do at scale and hard to do correctly at a price that people want to pay for it. And that's what people don't understand as well is like we do landscaping, not like major landscaping, but landscaping projects that people will pay $1,500, $2,000 for. They won't bat an eye at paying $2,000 for these landscaping projects. And it's 10 times easier than the lake weeds we're charging $400 to $600 for. Homeowners just don't understand it if they've people understand it if they've tried themselves. So we get some of those people that are like, "Hey man, thank you so much for doing this shit. Like we've tried, can't keep up with it. It's horrible work." So we got a contract this year for Lake Mazaska. These guys are great. If any of them end up listening to this, but they let us do like 20 of their cabins, right? So that's a major contract for us. Like, and it's all in the same lake, so that's great for logistics. Because of the fact that they were looking at us and a couple other companies, and they had us and one other company, I won't name them, but basically our only other competition out of like Egan or the cities. And they had us come in and them come in, didn't know we were each coming in to do a job right next to each other, right?
Oh, really?
Came in one day separate. They let us quote whatever we wanted to quote.
Yep.
Let us do the job to see who won it. And they said we charged half the price. We did 3 times as good of work. And they liked us because we're young and they were like adults and they didn't want to talk. And they're old people living in the community, man.
Yeah.
Like they want to talk to you. So we're talking to them.
Yep.
Like one lady, if she listens to this, she made us cinnamon rolls. Like we were there. We were there for 2 weeks straight, right? Like every day because we did 20 cabins.
Yep.
She made us cinnamon rolls like 3 different mornings, like a whole tray of cinnamon rolls. Like they cooked us lunch twice. Like
damn,
we're gonna not charge you a lot because you guys are great.
Yeah.
Like if you're an asshole, we're gonna charge you a lot. Like that's where I come into the relationship thing with people. Like it's just all about like being nice and people want to help you, right?
Connecting with people.
Yeah,
Like it's not all about the business. It's about connecting with people and building relationships.
Yeah. So that's another. So Lakeshore Potential is another topic because I want to move, and we'll get into that as well and where.
Yeah.
And I can obviously do that from a different state.
Mm-hmm.
But we're growing pretty fast, and we're kind of at the tipping point of we're going to need to invest some money to become bigger, because if we were to do a $10,000 marketing budget and have 10 crews in a shop, we
Yep.
could probably kill it. Like the demand
yeah.
is there. Everybody wants the service.
I never heard of it before.
It's
we
an
live on a
interesting-
lake in Wyndham, and I'd never heard of it
Really,
before.
it's an interesting service. So, shout out my dad though for starting it all. Like I can't appreciate him
Yeah.
as much. Like
Yep.
he didn't give me 100% everything we have, but he gave me a great start. Like, and he showed me the way.
What do you guys do? Like, if I can ask, what's the process?
So essentially, we'll give you a free bid. We'll come to your house. Most residential jobs range from $400 to $600, depending on the type of lake weed and the access to your lakeshore. Like if we have to lug it up a big ass hill, or if it's
Yeah.
flat, you know.
Yeah.
We come in. We can do 2,500 square feet. DNR certified. We pass a test at the beginning of the year. 70 questions to be able to do a 50 by 50 box with a 15-foot channel to open water. It's pretty simple right now. Just manual labor with some tools that we have. Some of them we buy offline. We also have a kid, Seth Reichs, if he watches this, Jade's little brother. He's great.
Uh-huh.
Does a lot of our engineering stuff, like making some new stuff for us to
Really?
make the process faster and stuff. He doesn't get paid enough. Hopefully in the future, like he
Yeah.
should get paid for that work,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
like, I know just it's insane, right? Like the process could get better. We could be more efficient, but to do that, we need money for revenue or
Yeah.
for like R&D. And hopefully we get there someday and we can automate it a little bit more. Right now it's just manual labor and shit work, but
Yeah.
got to start somewhere.
So you guys are getting rid of weeds around docks, around lifts, around all that shit.
So
okay.
like a 50 by 50 area, you can move that as you please a little bit. Can't go over 2,500 square feet though. It's illegal.
Really?
Yeah. And we cut them off right at the bottom, take them all up and out same day.
Wow.
Great service, honestly.
Did they grow back?
Yeah. So it's a tough business, like because of that too.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't understand this isn't a yard.
Yeah.
You can't rake the leaves and they're just gonna be gone. You can't put up a fence, right?
Yeah.
If you could put up a fence in a lake, it'd be great once we do it. But
Yeah.
a storm happens, you might get some blowing. But it makes it much easier to manage when we come in for once.
Yeah.
So a lot of customers that don't mind spending the money to have it perfect, we'll do theirs 2 to 3 times a year to keep it pretty solid.
Yep.
Because depending on the season we have, how warm it is, how dry it is, if it's really early spring and really low water but really hot, they grow like crazy.
Yeah.
But
yep.
it just depends on the year. Sometimes they don't grow back. Depends on the lakeshore. Depends on the type of weed. Which is
Wow.
why it's such a tough business, honestly, to keep
Yeah.
clients happy, because there's
Yep.
so much.
You got to do
toss-up.
you got to do a subscription model. is what
We're talking about it.
That's the way I would go if I
We're
was
talking
running the
about
company.
it. Jade, shout out Jade. He actually
Brought that up.
Yeah. It's
That's
a great idea.
smart way to do
It's
it.
definitely a way to. It's definitely a way to guarantee revenue and make customers happy, and probably be able to bring down the price a little bit.
What's the future of, because you're moving? Yeah. Talk about that. Moving the company. What do you do?
I won't move the company personally. I'll still own 50%. We have yet to talk about this in depth, me and Jade. It's gonna
Yeah.
have to be a topic before I go.
Yeah.
But essentially, like what I would think would be fair, you guys can give me input if you have any suggestions as well, like any different opportunities, and so can Jade at the time. But I think what would be fair is a 50-50 ownership still, because that's about what it is. Like I had the idea originally, he had the equipment, but now we're in at 50-50, all good. He takes a salary off the top for his work every year, and we each still own 50-50. He can get paid whatever he think his time is worth.
Yeah.
Because I agree, he should be paid great.
Yeah.
And then we still each own 50% of the back end.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
That's
to
what
me.
I think would be fair.
Yeah. I mean, especially since your dad was the original guy.
Yeah.
This is all credited to him.
Yeah, if
You
we
go
ever
back.
get big, I'm giving him a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
I should be giving
Yeah.
him more money,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, really, the only way to, I mean, if you're leaving Minnesota, right? Because you're going, I don't know if you're
Utah, hopefully.
Utah's, yeah.
My girlfriend, maybe.
Are you 100%
I would go to
set
Utah.
on moving?
Yeah, it's just got to happen, man. It's a step I got to take.
Is this a
Like, I've been-
5-year plan? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year?
Nobody knows, man. You can't know. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I didn't
So
know
I
if
was
you
looking
guys.
looking for the
For sure.
van. He's always on the
Yeah,
move.
like
I
and
didn't know if
see,
you're trying to get the hell out of here quick. Or...
Here's the thing. Depending on which route I take in my life, normal job or not,
Yeah.
I might have the flexibility to come back to Minnesota for 3 months to run it.
Yep.
Because that's our busy time. So that's
Yeah.
all I need to be here for. So
Exactly.
this is all future, who knows?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
But
That's the best part. Like I talked to you about before a couple days ago about being your own boss, like
it's
making
great.
your own decisions.
So much better.
You really have that like sense of like life is in your hands. Like no one's telling you what to do, when to come to work, how to work, how much to charge. Like I would encourage it for everybody if it was possible. Obviously it's not. You have a mindset, you have a
It's not for everybody.
You have to hustle, you have to be able to have the motivation to get stuff done because no one there is telling you here's your due date and here's how you're going to get it done. No, exactly. You have to have the
It's all up
structure
to you.
yourself. I wish I could encourage everybody to do that, but that's just not realistic. Because people need to work 9 to 5s and
Yeah.
have bosses. A lot of people do.
Uh-huh.
That's just the structure of the United States. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. COVID now with everything going on, people working from home, that could really be a positive because people might realize they can get shit done at home.
Yeah.
They don't need a boss. That's the creepy thing.
I
you know?
got 100% on this topic, but can I pee quick?
Yeah,
we gotta keep
100%.
going, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay.
I'm down to go forever.
I'm going to have to get out of the way here. Still going here. Another beer straw.
Another water.
Another water for Logan here. Where are we talking about? The economy?
Yeah, and people being their own bosses. So you should Google Fiverr.com. You know what it is? You probably
I've
know
used
what it is.
Fiverr, yeah, quite a bit, yeah.
So a lot of people don't know about this, but I think that's going to be the way a lot of jobs go in the future because you can make more money.
Explain it to people.
I mean, essentially, it's a marketplace for talent, right? It's like eBay for talent, anything. They got everything on there. Go to, God, why can't we get their home? There it is, there it
okay,
is,
so
there it is, there
music,
it is, there it
arts,
is.
video animation, writing, digital
Everything
marketing.
you could possibly want.
Let's say you need a poster, you need a logo, pretty much anything. You need anything for a business, anything for yourself.
You go there.
Ethan, you got a Fiverr, don't you?
I used to do some Fiverr graphic stuff, but I kind of you got to pick and choose your battles. Like you gotta pick what you're good at and run with
Yeah,
it. Like
100%.
I focus on the video work now. Used to do a lot of different stuff. I'm glad you brought this up though because what a great way to make extra income.
Yeah, that is a great way to make extra income. We're talking about that again. Hone in on one skill and do it.
Yeah.
Website design, resume writing. I paid $40 for a resume off this website.
Really?
Not because I'm
I
stupid,
didn't know
but
they did
because they can
resume.
do it 10 times better than me for $40 instead of me spending 10 hours on it, probably more, and not doing it well.
Crazy part about Fiverr is the amount of. I feel like whenever I use it, the people I'm working with are foreign.
A lot of them are because they'll do it for no money, and that's
Exactly.
that's not a bad statement. They're just good at it, man. They just rip it out.
They just could do it so quick.
Yeah.
People in foreign countries are like super talented and they'll work for damn near free.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Isn't it crazy? And we think we're living in a tough thing, you know?
Yeah,
Go to China. Go to Russia.
And that's the thing, like, I just want to bring this up because people don't know this exists. Like, I have a buddy who works for a construction company that basically I showed him this and he's like, holy shit, you can do my job on here for $10. He's like, oh man. Like go to business. Just hover business here.
Oh my gosh.
Do you see this? Project management is a job that people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for with benefits.
I didn't know they did all this on here.
Look at that. Wait. $15 for a whole project.
I'll create project management documents. Let's just check out, for the sake of
Okay.
it, where this guy's at. Saudi Arabia. And he's got good reviews.
He's doing great work for nothing.
4.9, level 2, 70 reviews, and yeah, doing great work. Average response time an hour.
It's ridiculous.
Last delivery was 22 hours ago. Talented people all over the world, and it makes you realize. I think Gary Vee's even talked about this before. We got to really grind our asses off in the
Yes.
United States, because if the people in or companies in the United States can go to another country, find someone twice as talented that'll do it for half as much as you.
See, I want to bring this up on two levels. One, it is a great way to make some side income if you hone in on a skill.
Yep.
Two, if you want to start a business and have no fucking clue what you're doing, you can outsource everything on here. My logo, created on here. My resume, created on here.
Yeah.
Like, just use your resources. You know,
Yep.
a lot of people like, oh man, I got to do a logo. Oh man, I got to do a marketing plan. Oh man, I got to do something. Like, use your resources for $15. I'm sorry, but it's saving you a lot of time and a lot of headache.
Yeah. And
Ethan,
it seemed,
didn't you have that sketch drawn of you from a guy on here?
Yeah, a guy on here did that. I've had a bunch of things done on here.
Movie
It's so cool.
posters?
Movie
It's so
posters
cool.
and yeah, there is so many things online that you can do. And you were talking about I want to get into the grocery delivery thing, which is super
yeah.
interesting to me. Everything that you need or you want is on the internet now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Talk about the grocery thing. Instacart.
I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I just signed up for it because I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I think a lot of people get like a bad precedent or bias around stuff like that. It's like, oh, that job, like I'm way above that. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I own my own company and I have a decent job, but like if you can make $20 for an hour, it's 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. You got nothing to do, right? From 6 to 10.
Do it.
Go do 2 grocery deliveries, make $50. It's gonna help you save that for a trip, save that for an iPhone, save that for anything you want to do, right?
Yep.
One of my buddies does it, Vinny, and he was like telling me he's making like 20, 25 an hour on the side whenever he wants. You know what I mean? Like there's opportunities out there if you just take them.
Yep.
And I think like people also need to stop thinking they're so great.
Yeah.
Like even myself, it's like I'm not better than any job, especially a job that's like that. Like $50 is $50, man.
Yep.
Like especially when you're growing and you're under 20 or under 30, you know what I mean? Like you're young, all that money counts. All that money counts to make you financially free in the long run.
I think the entitled culture that we have in the United States right now is a stem of people growing up, millennials growing up, because everyone thinks we're millennials. We're not.
and we're not.
We're not.
Uh-huh.
Our parents are millennials. They grew up, they struggled. They want us to have a better life. So we all had it easy. A lot of us, not everybody. There are people that had tough lives.
I'm
We
not
had
gonna
it pretty
complain about
easy.
mine.
So right now it's like working and like doing really tough things is just out of the world.
What I think is crazy too, that like maybe I just see like somewhat relating to this is, I know, like when I was a kid, I did chores. I didn't do a crap ton compared to some people. Like some people got to run the farm every day basically since they're 5. You know what I mean? But I mean, I did some chores, and when I was told no, I was told no. When I got in trouble, I didn't get beat, but I got sent to my room. I had to listen. Like you can't throw temper tantrums.
Yep.
For Christmas, I didn't get a $500 Nintendo Switch. Man, I was happy with the hockey stick.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous what parents give their kids nowadays.
Yep.
If you're going to show them $100 ain't shit, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
my parents, they were like, give me that. Give me half of it. It's going into savings account. You're not touching it till you're 18.
Yep.
That's probably why I am where I am today.
Exactly.
They gave me bonds. My grandparents and people gave me bonds. I'm like, this is stupid. Bullshit. We cashed that in for like $5,000.
Yeah.
Not stupid.
Exactly. Yeah. My grandparents did the same thing. We had McDonald's stock.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The presents kids get and the amount of leverage they have over their parents just by throwing a fit. They don't get disciplined, and I'm not saying beat your kids by any means, but put them in their room and tell them they can't.
Yep.
Like I see like friends or whatever, brothers or in general,
Yep.
littler kids, it's like I was happy if my mom let me buy anything from a gas station ever. Maybe like one time every 3 months I'd get a candy bar. Or else it was, no, you don't need a water. You can drink that when we get home in an hour. You don't need a candy bar. No, you don't need a pizza.
Yep.
Now it's like a kid can get $10 worth of candy and shit at a store.
Yep.
And then if she says no, he freaks out.
Mm-hmm.
And our world's going to a bad place if we have none of that.
It is. And how do you correct that though?
Well, it's
What's the
tough
answer?
because some parents think it's okay to give their kids $500 Nintendo Switches from Santa, and then you got
Santa, yeah, Santa's.
well, this is what I'm saying, bro. Like when kids don't know that Santa isn't real, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably a tough thing to say out loud. You never know who's fucking listening. It's a 4-year-old. You know, a 4-year-old on their iPad. This is the exact person we're
You're
talking
making
about.
someone cry right
Yeah,
now.
dude. No, but when they don't realize that and they say, why did Santa get me a $30 present? This is what they're thinking in their head. Why did that kid get a $1,000 present? Why did his parents give him $100 cash and I don't get any cash?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a tough thing. And that's where, like, I am a big proponent of, like, hey, if your parents work hard enough to give you that stuff, they've earned it to give you that stuff.
Yep.
But there needs to be some sort of structure around it, right? Like, if you're going to give your kid a Switch, don't give it to him from Santa. Say, hey, put in 10 hours of chore work, which is clearly not enough to buy a Nintendo Switch, but at least instills in them, hey, I got to work. Make them dry dishes. Make them put it on the fridge. Say, hey, when you get to 10 hours of work, we'll take you on a $200 whatever you do. Like the kids that go to just like trampoline parks nonstop, anything they want nonstop, like at least instill that they have to do something for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't give your kids the luxury of what you didn't have if you worked your ass off, because I'm a big proponent of if you're giving them money, you worked hard enough to be able to give them money.
Yeah.
But at least you need to instill in them that they need to do something for that money.
Yeah.
Like as little as 10 hours of work to get a $500 Switch. I would have done 50 hours of work to get a PS2. I would have done a million hours of work to get a PS2. You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, it's just nuts to me what people get for Christmas and birthdays.
Yep.
When it's like my family never really made that like a big thing. It was more about like the family aspect of holidays and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, you get some presents, man. You might get one super cool one, like, hey, I got a $100 RC car. That's sick.
Yeah.
Rip that around. Make some holes in the basement or something, when it's
Yep.
cold out.
Yep.
But like, I think that's a big issue with our generation as well. Like,
Yeah.
kids just get whatever the hell they want. Like, one more, just quick, bedtimes too.
Oh.
If I wasn't in bed by when I was supposed to be in bed, there was no effing around with that.
Yeah.
Now kids are just like, man, I want to stay up till midnight. And the
Yeah.
person's just like, the mom or the dad's just like, okay, whatever. After he throws a big enough fit, they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. What's to blame? Is technology to blame for this? Is technology the issue with all the things that we're seeing wrong? Is it?
It could be if that's the
It's
case. Though
definitely
they
a
need
stem.
to take it away from the kids.
I think
but
so.
some parents don't have the guts to do that.
Social media is an accelerant to the problem. It's not making it better.
Yep.
It's not. And you can't blame everything on social media, but
Yeah, that's what
it's
I'm
an
trying
accelerant. It is not making it better.
Big piece of the pie.
It is, and you have these younger kids. And we're not making generalizations. We're talking
No.
about specific circumstances.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great people.
Yes,
there are a lot of great
100%.
parents. But you can look in society and see that there's a direction that a lot of people are moving in, and it's going to negatively affect these kids when they grow older. And they're going to have a harsh reality when they get out of the house and they go to college and they realize we don't live in a world where everything's perfect.
Everything's handed out. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, and especially if like a parent dies or if their parents get
tough.
divorced or their parents lose the job with
Yeah.
COVID, then they don't get their $100, $200, $300, $400 gift for Christmas. What are they
They
going
don't
to do?
get their brand new iPhone.
They don't get a brand new car. Like
It's ridiculous.
it is. And we got to realize that there are people that live in horrible situations. If anybody in this country could have perspective when they're making decisions, if we think about other countries where they don't even have a carpet on their floor, we're so grateful. Even the worst of the worst in this country, they should be more grateful than people that live in these countries where they can't even get clean water. You know what I mean?
It's hard to think about that when we're deciding if we want to go to McDonald's or Wendy's. You know what I mean?
It is.
hard to-
We're so we're
Ridiculous.
so lucky to live in the United States.
Yeah.
That flag above us has so much history.
Or just
behind
be
it.
raised the way we were raised. Like,
Yeah, you got to think our parents. I mean,
Yeah.
both of our parents, obviously.
Yep. Yeah.
You got to credit that a lot to parents.
Yeah. Parenting, and that's a big thing that it's like we talked about education before. They could have a class on taxes, on college, parenting,
Social media.
They don't talk about that.
they don't
Let's
talk
talk about the Incas and the Mayas and the pyramids.
God, man. It's like,
Let's talk about the
you want to know
president.
when you'll learn about that? If you get out and travel.
Yeah,
You'll learn about the world when you get out and
Exactly,
travel.
yeah.
I went to Mexico, learned so much about the Mayas.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, get that through culture. Get that through doing something.
Exactly. It's a sad time we're living in, and there's a lot of great things going on right now, but there's a lot of negative, there's a lot of negative stuff going on.
See, like, that brings me to COVID a little bit more. Like, a lot of people think it's fake. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think it's super serious. A lot of people don't. You got to just take it for what it is, man. Things happen,
Yeah.
Things do happen. Like, look at world history. Things happen. Civilizations fall. Civilizations rise. There's humps in the road. It's just like everything, right?
Yeah.
You complaining about it on Facebook, no matter which side you take,
Yep.
how are you doing any positive for anybody?
True.
Are you doing any positive for anybody?
That's a whole nother topic. Facebook and the older people on Facebook.
Oh my
is
God, dude. There should be a whole other platform for them, and they can just stay on their own.
Here's the thing, though. The same people that told us that social media is gonna, negatively affect
They're
us
the
are the
ones.
ones that are causing all the damn
I
problems.
heard that
You know what
shit
I mean?
before, yeah.
It's we're living in some weird times right now. I'm glad you brought COVID up though, because
You can talk about it.
I do think part of me, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or whatever. Part of me thinks though that it has nothing to do with the election, because I know that gets brought up. I think part of me thinks that China sent it to the world on purpose. Have you seen the death count in China today? Have you seen the Chinese death count?
Bring it up just so everybody can see and I can see as well, just to know.
Maybe you'll believe the numbers.
It's ridiculous. Or what?
Let's see. Oh, yesterday had 15.
They got the vaccine, man.
Apparently, yeah. Hey, so my thing here, if anyone listening, we're looking at numbers that are from 15, 30 cases a day. What are we in the United States? Unbelievable amounts. Record
Dude,
breaking.
it's ridiculous right now.
I had this argument with a friend, though, that they said that why would China send that out? Oh, gosh. It's not the first time another country has done biological warfare on another country. It happens all the time. It's a conspiracy theory.
So, I'd like to take it from two perspectives.
Yeah.
100% I get your point looking at that. I'm surprised that it hasn't been used more often, you know, like
Yeah.
in a bigger, more effective rate. Like, and also just looking at it macro perspective, like how is something naturally not taking us out a little bit more, you know?
True.
It's actually ridiculous that
True.
we've been so lucky. Everything just works. It's actually ridiculous
Isn't
when you
it
think about
crazy?
it.
Yeah.
But looking at that too, like you could go the other way with that to some countries are doing better than others, maybe because of the way they handled it, maybe not. I'm not going to say it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say
Yeah.
it. I'm just looking at
Yeah.
it from all perspectives.
Yep.
As well as the way China is, they could be lying about that shit right now.
Oh,
they
yeah.
could be like, hey, we might have 100,000 people a day, but we're just not going to tell anybody because our media is completely run by the government and we're not going to let it out of this country.
Does anyone believe these numbers, though? Does anybody actually think
That's
that they
ridiculous.
have 18 a day?
No.
Come on. You know how many
That
people...
But this is what I'm saying. Like maybe...
What's the population of China? I mean,
Oh.
God forbid. What is it, like 3 times the United States, 4 times? I mean, honestly, this
That's
is...
ridiculous.
Isn't
is-
it 2 billion? I don't even know.
1.3. Okay, come on. The population, people of China is 1.393 billion, and we're supposed to believe that yesterday they had 8 cases of
Because
coronavirus.
they're lying to us.
Come on. No
It might
one.
be because they
No, the media doesn't report on that though.
Yeah.
I have never heard anybody question the validity of that claim. That is absurd to me.
Yeah.
There's no way with 1.39 billion they
That's
have
crazy.
eight
Bring
people.
up the world chart. Like I just want to see like daily
What did I type? World coronavirus.
world coronavirus numbers. I just want to see it.
I know the United
Oh,
States.
we're way up, but that's
But
not
we're
that's not my
testing-
point. That's not my point.
Yeah, world coronavirus number. I probably have to put numbers in.
Yeah, and then maybe like the first thing, just click on it.
Okay, so. Oh
okay.
my. Okay, so yesterday. Oh, this is on
We
the
probably have a
13th.
sixth of that.
On the 13th, 628,130 6 new cases.
Go down. That's what I'm looking for right now.
Okay, so the total. So look at this, 55.6 million. The United States is 11.6 million. Of them.
So, yeah, it's ridiculous, but that's not my point either. Like, I'm not trying to bash us by any means.
we test more than any country.
We do, but I can counter that topic of I was just directly exposed to 3 people that had it.
Really?
Summer, my girlfriend, was deathly sick for 5 days.
Really?
Like, deathly sick. Puking, hardly moving. Like, I almost took her in. I was so scared.
Really?
Yeah, like, I was actually scared.
And she's our age. So
yeah,
that's
dude, and
crazy.
healthy.
Wow.
I think it just affects different people different ways. Like, some people, yeah, don't get anything. I agree with that. I think it's just, different people, different folks, different strokes.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that it's not as serious, more serious than just the common cold, common flu. My point is, it is a thing. It is going to continue to happen. We're going to have to deal with it. And I just hate how negative people are around the whole topic in general, no matter what your belief is on it. And these things are going to happen as we get older. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe we haven't seen something worse than this shit.
I know.
And I think it's going to happen in our lifetime.
I
Not
know.
saying just this, but just worse shit. And my whole point and roundabout topic of this is, do you see how much of a shit show we acted like in this as a country? Not as a right or a left, as a country. How divided we were, how we won't respect authority, how we won't, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, how much of a shit show top down it is both ways.
Yep.
What happens when some real bad shit happens and we need to come together as a country?
Yeah, right.
Will we?
Yeah,
Because this was
right.
this, like, from an outside perspective, right?
Yep.
Think about it in the positive light. Like, obviously there's a shit ton of negative light. This is a trial run for how we're going to handle the future.
Maybe
We
this is
failed.
China's test on us,
How
to
much we
see
can
how-
handle.
And I didn't
Yeah.
mean to bring that up because I know people are going to get all pissed off that I brought it up as it could be a conspiracy that China's doing some biological attack. But you got to
It might be,
remember,
though.
you
It
got to
could-
remember,
Hey, it could be.
China is a communist country, and they will do anything they can to discredit a capitalist society. And the United States has been the centerpiece of this entire thing.
Yep.
Obviously, Donald Trump has made it of where it is. But they have really tried to prop this up as look at the United States. They failed.
Yep.
We did horrible things.
Yep.
We messed up. And if that was their goal, they succeeded
Yeah,
because we
Jesus
looked like
Christ.
idiots the whole
We
time.
need to get those fucking people.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where looking at the numbers, looking at how China lies, because clearly
that's
they're
a lie,
lying,
yeah,
and
it's
everyone's
like-
like, well, China handled it very well. I don't care how well you handled it. There's no way you have 8 new cases with 1.39 billion people. I don't care
I
how
agree.
you handled it.
100% I agree.
There's no way. It just doesn't line up.
See, and that's where like you can't say. I hate when people point fingers to from the left and the right on Facebook or anywhere, just in general, right?
Yeah.
Like, he would have done this better. She would have done this better. We should have done this better. I don't believe the doctors. Like, that's just such a negative light on society, like as a whole, both ways, no matter if you believe in it or not.
Yeah.
And if you're panicking about it and if you're completely disregarding it, those are both probably really negative lights on society. And instead, maybe you should just take into account that it is a thing. Let's do what we can to move forward.
Yep.
And hey, if somebody handles it wrong, let's have somebody step up and be like, shit, we're getting our ass kicked. Like,
Yep.
I would have so much respect for anybody, right or left, if they stood up there and be like, hey, we're getting our ass kicked on the numbers board, man. We got to figure this out as a country. Let's stop the bullshit and let's figure out how we can get rid of this, right?
Yep.
Like, and I know you can say that's all left, all right, whatever. But I just think I would have a lot of respect for anybody on any level of the government that would stand up and call for that to be like, okay, let's stop spreading the complete left and the complete right. And let's just realize that it's going to be a thing we're going to deal with here.
Yep.
Let's do what we can to move this forward as positive as possible, because I know so many right people that are like, oh, this is a hoax and this is bullshit and I'm not wearing a mask and this is ridiculous for closing bars. And I know so many left people that are like, let's shut down the entire country completely. And I do think that it's better to pick one or the other instead of teeter in the middle like we are. But I also think there's a better way to do it positively and making both sides okay with what decision you make.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're just leading ourselves into just shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I could have never. We talked about this like months ago. Way when
Ethan,
it
we
started.
got a camera that's about to die. In
Oh,
a
really?
second. Yeah.
Well, and we don't need to talk about COVID anymore. We have talked about quite a bit tonight. We have cameras dying because we talked for so damn long.
Are we done, man? Come on. I can
Two-
We need to.
Logan, this just means we need to have you on.
I was gonna
again.
say we're gonna have you on again for
All right,
damn
I'll rip
sure.
again
We have
anytime.
never, ever, ever gone this long. We've never had a camera almost die. I'm honestly with you. This is crazy how long we've gone for.
We can
here.
keep going.
And
man.
Joe Rogan,
Anytime.
Joe Rogan even goes longer.
Yeah,
it's
that's
crazy.
what I'm saying. We gotta do like 6 hours. I'll do 12 hours.
6
straight.
hours.
I don't know if I can talk though. Like my voice is,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
I go as
well,
long as possible.
I'm gonna plug your link on here. Everything.
Appreciate it.
Lakeshore Potential. This has been awesome. We need to get you back on again.
For sure,
100%.
I'm in anytime.
Hopefully everything going on right now with the world and everything. We've talked about a lot of negative. We talked about a lot of positive. But I think in the end, we tried to cover it in the most, bipartisan,
Yeah,
non-biased.
both sides,
You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
I don't think we pissed anybody off. Hopefully, if anyone
I
got
mean-
pissed off,
Hopefully not.
we can have a meaningful discussion and not
about
hate anybody. Yeah. And that's the biggest part that I think we get out of it. Having discussion with people and not, in the end, walking away with negative intentions.
Shouldn't hate people for their beliefs. You should have a conversation with them and try to figure out where they're coming from and where you're coming from, and then maybe we get a little bit more in the middle.
Yeah, I think that would make the country a better place, 100%. So, Logan, thank you for coming.
Thank you
This
so
has
much
been a
for having
great
me,
show.
boys.
Colin, thanks for producing the longest podcast in Ethan Claire Show history. Logan's coming back on 100%.
This is great.
This has been great. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week.